Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create this particular very part of the dashboard we had been creating before now. So if you look at it, it's very dynamic and we have a hidden slicer for it right here that we can actually click on and filter our data with it if we need to. So I'm going to show you how to get it built, and over here we have this more detail where we can actually look at the product and see how they're doing. This is very great. So taking you back right here, and what you need to do now is to actually get the data. So now from the first video, we've built this and this one as well. So what you have to do right now is to get the data. This is not a basic Excel dashboard. Let me show you something. So over here, I have the Power Pivot. If I click on Manage, it's going to show me all the data that powers the dashboard you have just seen. And the beautiful thing, we have a table built, which is not something that is common in Microsoft Excel. So now here is a diagram. This diagram actually shows us the connection of all the tables we actually have. So we have more than 5 tables. So we have them connected together to avoid denormalization. So we keep all our table normalized and we run connection through it. Okay, another beautiful thing is actually using Power Query to clean our data before we even load it to the Power Pivot. Right here, I have 20,000 rows of the fact table, which is the transaction we have is 20,000, and everything is kept right here. And we clean it up and we push it into Power Pivot. So I'm going to show you how everything is done. Just watch the first video and you would have the full knowledge of how we actually, got right in here. So if you want to actually have something built like this, this is your time to actually take advantage of this particular tutorial. Let's do it. All right, before we get started, here comes the tasks we are going to actually get ourselves involved with. So go ahead and take a look at this particular one right here, read through it, because this is what we are about to get done with. So if I scroll all the way down, you can see the other ones we have already achieved. So you might want to take a look at the first part and the second part of this particular dashboard for you to have the knowledge of every single thing we're doing. So on the data set you downloaded, you're going to have this particular PDF. Take a look at it and let's see how we can actually use it to achieve what we have on our screen right now. Let's get it. All right, everyone, before we get started, you might want to go ahead and hit the like button, share, and if you have not subscribed before, just go ahead and do that right now. So I want to actually create a new dashboard. So for that, I don't have to start from the scratch. If you have been following me, you would have actually known how we got this particular interface here created. Right away, I'll just right click on this particular one we have right here, then click on move or copy, then click on create a copy. And if I click on this, I have this. I can move it anywhere I like. I can just keep it right here. Okay, with this right now, I can double click and rename it to profits view. All right, so for me to delete everything from here, it's going to take me a lot of time if I have to do it one after the other. So what do? I know what I want and I know what I don't want. So I'll Control A to highlight every single thing right here. So subtract what you don't want and keep what you want selected. So hold my Control key. I want to keep this one. I want to keep this particular one as well. So I want to keep this. I want to keep this. I still have one, which is this color here. I want to keep it. So I have actually exclude them from my selection. What is next? The delete key on your keyboard. Now you have something as clean as this. So you can only do this if you have followed me from the first to the second video. If you have not, you might want to take a look at that and see what you can do to get right here, because you need to have the experience on how we actually got our data cleaned and do all the transformation we need inside Power Query, put it inside Power Pivot before we start creating this. Okay, now that we have gotten this right now, let us quickly insert a new sheet. So this new sheet, I'm going to call it Analysis 3. All right, so with our Analysis 3, let me zoom closely, then you can see what I'm doing. So let's do 120 or 120, yeah, 120. 120 is cool. So with 120, you can see clearly what I'm doing. So I can position my cursor anywhere I like. But before we do this, let us understand what we're about to get into. So over here, we have this particular part. to deal with right now. So it says customer analysis, provide insight into the profit generated from male and female customers and breaks down the average spending by customer age groups, showing which age group are most profitable. Nicely done. So if you were the one in this shoe right now, what would you do? All right. The first thing you need to do is to understand your data. Let us quickly go back to the data that we have. So if I click on this particular pivot right here, it can take me to the data. And that way to get to the data is for me to click on this particular part and click on this particular queries and connection. So now I am here. So double click on either of this will definitely jump you into Power Query, which is where we are right now. So now I am into the customer table. Inside the customer table, we have the customer full name, we have the gender, we have the location, and we have the customer age, right? So we are going to create the age group, but not now. We just need to come back right here and do that transformation for the age group and see how we can actually group the age. So what I'm thinking based on what we have just read out is that we need to actually create something about the customers. So what if we show the top and the bottom customers? And as well from the location where they came from, we want to see which of the location are more profitable and which of the location has less profit, because we want to see how we can channel our resources to push those goods we are selling to those people. Now, gender-wise, we want to see which gender contributed more to profit than the other. And over here, they are talking about average, so spending by customer age. So we're going to do all of this. So let me show you what you can do. Give you that inspiration. You apply the same thing on your own personal dashboard. So to step off, click on close and load. And over here, we don't have to keep this. We take it off. So remember I told you our data is slipping right in here. So we have our data in this particular place and we have created a connection to it. So we don't need to actually think of how would we do this. So go back to Excel. Inside the Excel worksheet, click where you want to have your pivot table to be inserted for you. Once you have done that, go to the top ribbon and click over Insert. And over Insert, you can click over Pivot Table and you have this option. In case you forgot this option, if you have loaded your data inside Power Pivot, go to Manage. And from Manage, you can see where we have Pivot Table. You can see you want to create a pivot table, pivot chart, and any other thing can be created from here. So if I click on Pivot Table right now, I still have this particular place as a default place to have my pivot table in. Then I click on Existing Worksheet. I do this. So Control Z to show you Control Z to show you what I've done before, or the Control Z cannot work. I can just go ahead and remove this one from here. Then let's create from this place. Insert, pivot table from data model. Now we still have the same thing. All right, maybe you might be thinking, what the heck do you have as a view in terms of the field you have right here? Mine is not like this. So I'm going to show you. It's all about settings. So if I do this now, it gives me the default view everyone would have when you install Excel for the first time or Microsoft package for the first time. So if you want to see the view I have, you can see here. So we have all of these particular fields right in this right-hand corner, and we have our tables right here. So here we have tables because we loaded in table into Power Pivot. So we have table for data and other things. Okay. If I drag it to the side, I can have the access to create this. So what we're about to create will take two things. Number one, we're going to be dealing with option button, and we're going to be dealing with a combo box. So let me insert those two. Go to a developer. In case you cannot see developer, what do? You right click and you go to customize the ribbon. So inside of customize the ribbon, that means this one is not checked. So go and check it. If it's unchecked, then you click on OK. You're going to have your developer right here. So once you have your developer, the next thing you have to do is to click on insert. So from insert, you have the form control. Do not go to active X controls because this one has to do with VBA. We don't want to write any VBA code right here. Even when we need to do something that has to do with VBA, we record it and it makes it easy for everybody to do without we writing it ourselves. Okay, now we have this button called what? Called option button. I'm going to get option button. So I have my first option button right here. I would have to remove what? Remove this from it and make it smaller like this, right? Okay, this option button should be duplicated into two. I have the second one right here. So after my option button, I'll go back again and I'll click on the same insert. Now it is time for me to bring in this particular combo box. So for the combo box, I will just drag it as little as I want. Here I have those two buttons right in here. Okay. So before we do anything, let's go to analysis 3. And over here, I'm going to do option, combo box. Okay. I want to make them to be very important. So I'm going to do them to be as bold as this. And over here, I will go to the top ribbon. I will click on home. From home, I will just do, let's do it. Something that shows there is danger somewhere. So I'm going to do all border. So, which means nobody should actually delete whatever we have inside here. So now let's go back to our dashboard. For this very one here, I'm going to go to form control and I'll click over here to link it to a cell. I'll link it to option right here. Then I'll click on OK. Right? Now for this one, there is no provision for it yet. Let's go back here. So this time around, we want to do two things. We want to do top 5 customers. So we want to do customers. So we want to do location. So we'll have two things right here. So let's just leave it this way. Okay. What we'll do now, we can make this one just italic. So it's optional if you don't want to do that. So let's go back here. And now it is time for you to create the linking. So go to form control or format control rather. And now the input, what we want to have inside it. So we go over here. So we bring in these two right in here. And over here, where do we want to link it into? So we go back here and we link it right in this particular part. And for this particular one, it's optional. You can leave it this way. If you have a lot of list, I'm going to show you maybe, do we have anything like that? Although if you have a long list and you want to break it down to have a drop down or a scroll, you can control the number you have right here. But right now we can just leave it at default, or we can put just 2 that we have. So I'm going to click on OK. So now if we go back, there is no changes. Nothing happens. Nothing happens here. Nothing happens here. But this particular 2 cells have been utilized, and this one as well has been utilized. So going back to our profit view, we can, if we open it now, we can see customer. Then if I click on this one, I think we should see 2 for every one of it. Okay, as I said, okay, 2 and 1. So this one comes first, then second. So if I go back now and select that particular location here, then we should now have 2. So they are now number. Now, what do we want to attribute this particular one for? This is the first one. The first one should be for top. The second one should be for bottom, right? Top and bottom. So now that we have done this, quickly, we need to start creating our analysis. Okay, so what do we do next? I'm going to bring in my customer. So go to customer name, the full name of my customers. So as you can see, I have a long list of customers right here. So we don't want to use all of them or delve into all of them. We just want to see which of those customers are very profitable. Before we do any of that thing, it is important for we to format this, but let's just put in our profit. Remember in the first video, we have actually created this particular profit, right? So we go for total profit. That is this percentage. This is profit margin. So you're going to have this to pop out every single time you try to drag in, two different tables together. So it's trying to establish connection for you. Just go ahead and close it. Now we have this. So this is not readable to anybody. So let's go quickly and go to design. From design, we can click on report layout, and let's go to outline or table or showing tabular form. So now it shows full name. So I'm going to turn off the grand total. We don't need it. And right away, I want to do top 5 for this. So we go for filter and with top 10. So I'm going to do top 5 instead of top 10. I go ahead and click on OK. Okay. Now that we have done this, I'm going to identify this as top 5 customers. So it's very important for you to do this identification because you need to know what you are selecting later after all. Okay, if I select all of this now, copy and have it pasted right in here, Ctrl V. So instead of me to say top, I'm going to do bottom 5. And all I have to do is to right click again and go to filter. The top 10 should be turned into the bottom 10. So those are people with the least spending or less profitable people, right? That purchase from us. Okay. So for the time being, I can actually go ahead and drag this anywhere I like. So right now we are going to create for location. So quickly, I put this right in here and I do top location, top 5 location. So what I'm going to do right now is to actually take off the dimension I have. So this is called dimension. When I say dimension, dimension means text-based column. So measure means value, like number. So I'm going to take off this dimension, which is my full name. Then I bring in the location of my customers into this raw area. So right away, I'm going to do the top. So I'm going to go back and select filter, top. So we select top 5. So we click on OK. So now from top 5, we're going to create for the bottom 5. So this is going to be something you had been thinking of, but you don't think is possible in Excel. So what we're going to do right now is for we to change this one from top to bottom. So we just go ahead and right click and we go over to filter again. Now we just change this one to the bottom 5. All right, so we have this. So how do we use this number we have right in here? This is where this actually comes into play. So it is time for we to make use of it. So I'm going to create here customer table. So over here, I create my location table. Okay. So let me do them like this. Okay. For my customer table, let me shift this one a little bit. So for my customer table, I want to have the full name as well. I want to have the profit for both top 10 and there should be switch between them. If we go over here, this is used to identify my top customer and my bottom customer. We're gonna name it later after all, but let's do what we are doing yet before we do that. So if I go over here, I am seeing one for option because I have selected this first one we inserted before we duplicate and have this one, right? So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to just come over here now. I'm going to use the if function. With the if function, I'm going to say if this particular option button here is equals to 1, which is equals to 1, then we want to retrieve something from here, which means is our top customer. So we have to make sure we lock this down because we don't want that particular one to move. So you get it, right? So we don't want when we copy down, this one should move from here and to keep moving down. No, we don't want that. Then otherwise, we want to get something from here, which means it's the bottom 5. So if I hit my enter key right now, I have full name. We can't tell where it is from right now. So remember, if it is correct, it should give us John Brown and others, right? So I'm going to copy down right here. So which is very correct. And if I go ahead and copy this side, I have the values attributed to it, right? And this should be formatted. Quickly, we can go over to the top here and we do comma separator, we'll take off this. So if you look at it right now, if I double click, here we are, and automatically it shifts. So if I go over to my profit view and I select the second one, I go back to here, it has changed and it's actually getting things from here for me, right? Okay, to stay consistent, let's do with the same format. All right, so let's go for location. So for location right now, we do the same thing if this particular one is equals to 1, then we want to get something from here, otherwise give us something from here. Then when we close, before we do anything, we have to make sure we lock our option button down because we don't want it to move. So we have location and I drag it down. I drag it to this level. So quickly, we want to get the same formatting for it. We go over here and we just format this. So you look at it, it's giving us the bottom. Okay, what sense is this combo box gonna make? Okay, for the combo box right now, 1 identifies customer, 2 identifies location. So we want to do another thing. I'm going to do this one to be chart. All right. So for my chart right now, so I'm going to say if this particular number right here is equals to 1, then we want to get from customer, otherwise we want to get from location. So quickly, when we have it closed, we just have to make sure we lock our combo box down because we don't want it to move. Okay, so if I drag it down and push it this way, so now this one should take the formatting we have before. We have a format, so I'm going to do the format for you. Let's go to custom. I already have a format I want to use. So this format should be something like this one. So look at the format I have right here. I taught it in the first or second video, I don't know. So if I go ahead and click on OK right now, this is my format right now. So it's picking from location. Let's go over to profit view and select customer, and we have full name, which means this is our customer. So it's making a lot of sense right now. It is the high time we create a chart with this. So go over to the top ribbon, click on insert, and over here, I select the kind of chart I want to create. This is the chart I want to create. You get it right now. So this is the whole idea behind what we have done. So my chart should be sorted, right? So I'm going to make it a bit smaller. Let's get this one off. Even the profit margin here, I'm going to take it off. So I want to sort my chart. So bring it down right here. So what I'm going to do right now, for this one, I'm going to do sort largest to smallest. This one should be sort smallest to largest. So here, I'm going to sort largest to smallest. So for any of the bottom should be sorted smallest to the largest. That is how I want to do it. So it affects the ones that are linked to it. So sort your pivot table, you don't have any business with this one that is linked to it. So whatever you do right here reflects right in here. That is what it is. So going back to the screen right now, It is very hard for people to tell what is going on right here, specifically if I Control X, cut it away and push this right into this particular place. So if I do any switch, it's changing. So if I do this, it's changing. But nobody can tell what the heck is going on here. So we want that. So let's go back here right now. So we're going to do what I call caption. Caption is very important to show detail of what is being selected. So how do we do this particular caption of a thing? If you check here right now, you can see this is what we are actually creating. So I can switch and click over here. It's changing. So now we have a caption that tells what these buttons are all about and what this particular combo box is all about. Whenever we make a change, this particular part here change, it says 5 less profitable customer. If I go to top, it's giving me top 5 profitable customers. Customers over time is actually 600. So there is no filter. If there is filter, it can change. So now, out of 600, those are the customers we have. We might want to actually add more context to it, showing the percentage contribution of those customers against the overall total profit that we have made. So now we have a lot to show. Let's see how we can actually create this particular part right here. Okay, we are back to the right sheet, right? So I'm going to type in here, caption. Okay, before we do this, we need to insert more pivot table. Okay, we can do a caption somewhere else. Let's go over here now. We're going to have a caption here. So I just need to get this one duplicated for my caption. So quickly we bring up the field list. The field list is here. In case this disappears and you don't know where to find it, and that way to find it is to go over here and click on pivot table analyze. So you have your field list right here. So we don't need to show this location. So what we need to do now, I'm not sure if we have it. So we want to show the total transaction. So we have total numbers of customers and the total location. So we do not have it right here, which will take us down to where we have to create it. So select the pivot table, go over to the top ribbon, click on pivot table or power pivot right here. Now click on measure and click on new measure. So with new measure, let me give you an idea of what you're about to do. So with new measure right now, we want to actually create the numbers of customers that we have, and for only customers that had purchase history with us. All right, so which means we're going to do this over the transactional table, not over the customer table. When you do it over the customer table, there'll be a problem. So let me show you something. So let's go over to this top here. Sorry. Okay, just plugged in my tablet for me to use my. Okay, now, if we have customer table, here is our customer table. Here is our transactional table, right? So if we have like 500 customers here in this table, and those 500 customers did not make purchase in the selected filter, and we are running our calculation over this table, it's going to give us 500 and even wrong figure. But if only maybe 100 of people actually made purchase for the selected filter, and our calculation is based on the fact table or the transactional table we have right here. So there is an ID that is actually leaving this particular table to this table. So only 500 IDs, we actually come to the transactional table, which means we have total 100 customers that made purchase at a given period. Now, rank for you to create your total customer over the customer table, specifically if you are using what we call normalized, our table, where you have different tables that actually, help you to create a pivot table, just like what we are doing right now. So now you get the whole idea. The next thing right now is for we to see how we can actually do the calculation. Let's do it. So we are here on the Power Pivot. We go to measure, new measure, and right here, I can select where I want my measure to be stored in calculations. So over here, I'm going to do numbers of what? Of customers. For my numbers of customers, I can give a description. I don't want to do that. So I want to count the customer key. So I'm going to do distinct count. So the question you might be having in mind right now is like, oh, why are you using distinct count? Why don't you use count to count for you? Distinct count filtered away duplicates and only count the unique values. That is what you need to know. So distinct count, if I type in my fact table right now, it brings the list of all the columns I have inside my fact table. It's very easy for me to find my customer ID from the fact table. Now I close. You can make a verification by clicking on check formula. And if your formula is wrong, you're going to have an error message. For that, we are good to go. So go over here and select the whole number. Then we use comma separator in case it runs into thousands. So go ahead and click on OK. So we now have our total customer coming into our pivot table right here. So object reference not inserted object. So what the heck is going on? Cancel. Let's go back. Pivot table 3, scroll. So let's do calculation. Numbers of customers we've calculated was not inserted for us. Okay, now it's here. So if I click on this, now we have it. So we can quickly do for our product. So sorry, location, customer location, still store it inside the same place. So numbers of location. So we just do distinct count. Okay. Now numbers of location now is not a table on its own. Is not a table on its own. So we're gonna do count. Count of what? Of location from the customer table. So check it out. Nothing happens. So we are good to go. So we do whole number. We do comma separator. We do OK. So location. Why is location giving us this number? So let us go down to see location. Location is here. Right click and click on edit. And under edit, you can see here we have location. Location shouldn't give us 600. So location now we have, let's do with distinct count. Distinct count for location. Okay, now as you can see, there is an error here. So distinct count location, we have not closed the bracket here. So check it out. So solved. So this should actually change to like 20. I think we have 20 locations. So now it's correct. So always make sure you know your data very well so that when you have an error, you'll be able to tell that this calculation you have just made right now did not give you the actual value you are looking forward to seeing. So when I got 600 for location and 600 for customer, I quickly knew that this is wrong because I already knew my data. Okay, now we have this right here. We want to use this to calculate for our caption, right? So I'm going to make this visible. These numbers here visible. My caption should go in here. I'm going to type in let's do caption over here. So here's our caption. Beneath it, we can start writing for a caption. So now what do? We want to show what is selected and how many customers are they, or how many locations do we actually have currently selected when there is a selection between this option button and as well the combo box. So to start with right now, I have a function called text join. So what is the functionality of the text join? The functionality of text join is giving you a delimiter, space, hyphen or whatever you want. So if I type in text join, maybe this is the first time you're seeing it. So you have delimiter. My delimiter should be a space. I'm going to use double quotes, space bar, tap it once, do this. Now, if I put my comma, it's asking me to ignore empty. Yes, I want to ignore empty. I'll actually add under comma to skip it. Now it's asking me for the text one, the first text. So for the first text right now, we're going to use the if condition right here. So I'm going to say if. Now, what are we going to check? We're using the if condition we've typed in. So we want to say if this particular option button here is equals to 1. So over here, we do not need to lock this down. There is no need for we to lock this particular option button right here down at all. So if it is equal to 1, so that means we have selected top profitable. So let's do comma. That is if the value is true, we want to say top profitable. Then we close. So the difference between you using text join with using ampersand to do concatenation is that here you don't have to put a space. Sorry, let's cancel. You don't have to put a space over here to have space. So you can just do it this way. So if it is not true, what we want to have is actually less profitable. So I'm going to do less profitable. Then close it and close this, comma again. So it's asking for text 2. We have done this for top profitable and less profitable. So what else do we need to do? We want to show for customer and location, right? So what controls our customer and location is the combo box right here. So with comma and for text 2, we're going to use under if again. So with this if, it's going to ask a question that if this number right here is equals to 1, so we want to just put in customer. Otherwise, we want to put location. You get it? So go ahead and close and hit the enter key. So we have top profitable location. So that was because when we come over here, location is selected. I'm going to choose this here and choose customer. And when we go back here right now, it's giving us less profitable. So we need to correct something here. This is P. So profitable. Now you can see less profitable customer. You can do list or whatever. Okay. Now that we have achieved this right now, the next thing we need to do is to actually do one more thing. So over here, we're going to do text join again. So space and ignore empty. For the text one, what we want for the text one is just using the if. So this number is equals to 1. So we're going to say customer over time. So customer over time. Otherwise, we want to say total profits. Oh, sorry, total sales location. So here we go. So the last but not least right now in this particular caption right here is for we to actually identify what numbers of customers we have or numbers of location that we have. So we're still going to do if over here. This one here is equal. Sorry, we are dealing with this. If this one here is equals to 1, then we want to show for customer. Otherwise, we want to show for location. If I go ahead and hit my enter key, it gives me this. You get it right now. So once we have done all of this, the next thing now is to look at how we can actually make sense to show up this here and make our dashboard looks great. All right, so beautiful. We have just completed this. That is awesome. So now it is time for we to start making our dashboard looks very beautiful, right? So I'm going to go to the top ribbon here, then click on it and click on insert. From insert, what we're going to do is click on illustrations, then shapes, and take this particular rounded corner and drag it as you like. Okay, I want us to be on the same page, though this can actually have to do with screen size, you understand? But I'm going to do a dimension here. For my dimension, I'm going to use the height to be 0.76. Okay. Then that is for my height. Then for the weight, let us do 1.73. That is going to be 1.73. Okay. So we have this card here. But right now, it's not making any sense. It looks flat and looks ugly. We need to make sure it looks beautiful, right? So if I control 1, I'm going to have this up. I can move it anywhere I like. So I'm going to choose to take off the outline. Now it's looking a bit beautiful. So click back on it again. I can choose this gradient fill. Now I have this. So now that I have gotten this here, I want to only have 3 stops. We call this one stops. So I'm going to remove one of the stops. I have 3 stops. So one at the edge here and one should come over here. Then we have direction. So click over the direction and choose which direction you want to use. So for direction, we can choose from here, choose how we want to position it. Let's do with something like this. Okay. Now come over here to the direction now and choose where you want to have it. I want to have it at this angle. Okay, that is what you can do. Then the next thing right now is to select the, I think the color we want to use for it. So now over here on this one, I'll choose to get a color for it. So the color I want to use for it right now should be a color that will be consistent throughout my dashboard. So I already have my color. So let's go over to the small colors here. And if you don't have the hex code, in case you're using a lower version, let us go with the RGB so that everyone can actually follow along. So go with 51 and I'm going to go with 63 here. For the green, and for the blue, we go with 80. So here we have it. So if I click on OK, I'm going to have the color. So if you want to go for the hex code, it's 33 or 33350. So click on OK. Now you have this color. So click over here and do the same thing. Select the same color. Now you can see what I have right here. Beautiful. Okay. If I want to go by this color, I have just selected right now, I have created one of it. So if I want to change the color to any color of my choice, I can select over here and I can go for this. So now I have something that looks like this. So I can decide to change how this looks. So now the way I shift it gives me some kind of different view I really want. So you can see that now. So this is what it is that you need to actually understand how to create. So position is very important. How you position the stops matters. So everything you do matters right here. Look at it. So depends on how wide you want it to look like. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to push this over here. So there should be a white space at the top here. It's very important. Just keep that in mind. Keep a white space, not too much. So once I've done this, I'm going to do Ctrl D to duplicate it. I'll bring the duplicate over here. I'll do Ctrl D again. And I need 4 of it. So I have this 4 right here. So I'm going to move this a bit closer to this one. Then I'll bring this here. I'll now select and get this one right here for me. Okay. Hold your Control key to select all the 4 together. Go to the top right here and go to Shape Format. Now go to Align and Distribute horizontally. And then go back again and align to the top. So here we go. So the same color is not really cool. We have to change the colors. So let's change this particular part. I'm going to do this color. So click on this here. Let's do something like this. Is cool. Can you see it now? So over this one here, let's go with this color. So this is what we have. So if you want to actually keep the color calm a little bit, maybe it's too much. So there is a way to control it. Select the color from here, then use your transparency to control how the color should look. You get it? So this is what we want to have. So after this right now, let's go to the top again, insert, and over here we go to illustration, then shapes, we pick up a circle right here, and we do shift, and we just do this. Okay, do Ctrl 1 and take off the outline. Then for the fill color, we want to fill it with this color we are using, this very color, but we have to add a transparency to it. Then if I take this now to here, it's going behind it. So right click and bring to front. Now you move it. Oh. Bring to front. Okay, that is cool. Let's go over here. Select something like this color. Okay, this is cool. What will be best for us is for we to go over here and select the same color we are using for this. Then we just reduce the transparency. It looks like this. Okay, so Ctrl D to duplicate it. So bring this one over here and select the color we are using. Let's go with this. So reduce the transparency. So we do the same thing for this and for this. So make sure we set it right here. So for this one, we keep it right here. All right. So once we have gotten this done, this is just for KPI. So now we need some couple of icons to be right on it. So where do we get our icons from? So open your browser. So I'm launching my browser now. So with my browser, I can actually go to this particular site called flaticon.com. So now it has opened. All you have to do is to type in trend right here and make a search by clicking on the search button right here. Then we're going to have some couple of icons here. So let me show you the one you should download and the one you should avoid. Avoid anything that has to do with multiple colors. This color will not match the color palette you're using on your dashboard, so don't do it. Instead, download these ones that looks black. So if I scroll down, you can see lots of them right here. Let's get this out of the way. So you can see lots of them. So just go ahead and grab some couple of them, click on download. Don't go to SVG, go to this particular PNG right here, then click on download. So you can actually give an attribute to them if that is what you want. But right now we have just gotten this downloaded. So download as many as you like and make your choice on which one you want to use. And that is all you need to do. So we are back here right now. The next thing we have to do is just to go to the top ribbon. Now click over insert and illustrations. Then we click on pictures, then this device. So we have to locate where we have it saved in our system. So I'm going to go to download. From download, I have some couple of those ones I've downloaded here. So just hold your control key to multi-select and bring them in here. So quickly resize them. Okay, fine, step off. So we can individually move them and keep them where we want to have them used. So I'm going to keep this one over here. So go over again. So I'm going to get this one. So reduce the size. So keep this over here. So if you look at it, it's looking weird because it's dark. It's not popping out from the dark background we have. So keep this over here. So this looks similar. So we have to get another one that looks different from what we have because it looks like this same thing here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a new one downloaded. So stepping off from here. So let us choose something like this one. So now we have it downloaded. If we go back to where we have it saved in right now, we can go to illustrations, shapes, and sorry, pictures, this device, and we go ahead and pick this business. So make it as small as you want to fit it into where you want to have it writing. So we can bring it to this level. So we have to actually think about color. Hold your control key to select all of them at the same time. Then do Ctrl+1 to bring this up and go over to where it says picture and click on picture color. And now click over here, then select this one. And this is beautiful. You can see it pops out very well. All right, now that we have gotten this, what we want to have right here, we need to go to insert, illustration, or you can use the text here and use the text box you have right here, drag it down and type in cost of goods sold. That is COGS, the short form. So for my cost of goods sold, I want to some kind of increase this a bit. And I change the color to be this color. Let's go with something like this. Okay. Now, if I bring it over here, it's going to actually look bold. Let's do away with the fill and the outline. Now we have something like this. So I'm going to centralize it in the middle. So for the time being, I'm going to do Ctrl-D to duplicate it. And I have this. All right, as you can see, we have cost of goods sold, total revenue, profit margin, and the profit percentage, margin percentage right here. So it is time for we to get in all of this in here. And the best way to do this now is to actually come over here and let's bring up our view. Then from view, we go with formula bar. So we want to actually do something that will make it snappy for we to get those values right in here. We have to start with cost of goods sold, revenue, profit margin, and the percentage. So when we go over here now, so we want to include into this one, those couple of measures. So if I go to calculations, I already have my cost of goods sold created before now. I have my total revenue. Where the heck is it? Let's search for it. So total revenue should be something here. So here we go. Total revenue. Now we have to get a profit margin and the percentage of profit margin. So in case you're thinking like, how did you calculate your revenue? If you've not followed the previous video, over here, we have a DAX that does that for us. So we have some X and the fact table. A related table is the product where we have our price right in and the quantity sold. We multiply it and we got this value we have right here on our screen. Okay, so we have gotten all of this here. I don't want to show these huge figures on my screen. So what I'm going to do right now is to actually make sure I do Control-1, then bring this up and go for this very formatting. This formatting is a custom format. It's not actually available in Excel. So you have to do it all by yourself, which we have done in the previous video. You might want to take a look at that. So click on OK, and I have something like this. So I want 2 decimal places to be, or just 1 single decimal place. I can come over here and just go to home and I add 1. And this is exactly what we have right here. So you get it? Okay. Now, to get this now, let us find the position of this. This is actually sitting in R9, the R9, so which is column R and row 9. So 10, that is S9, T9, and U9, right? So try to remember this. Or what we can do is just to come over here and get this one duplicated. So push it up and select here, do equals. So we go over here and select this very one. We click on OK. So once we have done that right now, I can expand it to give us the kind of view we are looking for what to see. Okay, what I'm going to do is just to duplicate this and bring it over here. We duplicate for other part of it. So if this one is sitting on R, so we're going to have to put this one on S. So we don't have to go back. The figures are changing. So this one is going to be on T, while this one will fall under U right here. So here we go. We have them. So I can select them all at once to do the formatting. So we go over, we increase, and we select the white font here for it. Let's do more. I think let's just use 20. 20 is fine. So now, here we go. So manually, we can adjust this to sit rightly where we want it to sit, something like this. So if I'm very much satisfied with it, this is exactly what I want. So I might not have it perfectly done because of time. So you just have to make sure you sit down and do this very well. So if you look at it, the percentage is not showing, just stretch it out and you can see the percentage showed up. Now, we need to start getting some cards in here. So let us design this particular part first. So going to the top ribbon. So click on the top ribbon here. So go to Insert and click on Illustrations, click on Shapes. So as you can see, we have lots of shapes right here. So which one do you think we can use? Let's go with this one that has some kind of rounded corners. So if I drag it down, I'm going to have something like this. You can see at the top left and at the bottom right, right? So we can decide to actually play around with this to reduce the curveness at the top right and at the top left rather, and at the bottom right. So once we have done this, the next thing is for we to actually look at the dimension we are going to use for this. For the dimension, let us go with 5.97 for the height, which is 5.97 for the height, and for the width we are looking at 2.35, so it is 2.35 like this. Okay. So I'm going to bring this up here. So we can adjust it later. So let's keep it somewhere around, around here. So once we have done this, the next thing is for we to like, okay, what will this have us what we want? No, we have to create some custom design right here. So for the first time, I'm going to hold my Control-1 and take off the outline and match it with the color I want to actually use. Let's go with this color that matches these colors I have right here. Okay, let me have a quick fix here. I'm going to move this down. So for this one, I want to match it with this particular color we have right here. Then quickly we go over and pick this. Let's go with something like this. Okay, this looks cool. So here we go. All right, done. So we have our first shape right here. The next thing we have to do right now is to go over to the top ribbon again. And now we're taking a normal rectangle, flat shape like this. So I'm going to drag it over here. So this is what I have. Then duplicate it, bring it down, take it right here, have something like this. We're going to have this into 3. So I'm going to do Ctrl D again. I'm going to have this one reduced. I'm going to push it over here like this. Okay. Now we have something like this. I'm going to hold the 3 of them and select using Ctrl 1 to do this, then move the outline away. Then we select the same color for all of them. Now we have some steps like this. Okay, this particular part needs to be filled up, right? So we're gonna go ahead and now I would have to do Control and select all of them. For the time being, I'm gonna group them. So once I have them grouped, I'll move it down like this. I'll now hold my Control key to select this one because I want it to be, okay, do I need that? No, I don't need that. So this one will go a little bit, okay, let us put it in line with this one here. So go to the top ribbon, align, then you align top. Okay, as you can see, we have something like this. So wouldn't like to take it above this, but let's say I'm going to do something here. I want to go over to home, from home, select, I'll find and select, then select objects. I can highlight everything I have right here. Then I can actually bring it down a bit. So now, once I've done that, I can now maintain this and take it up here just to make sure this space here is maintained for me. And now it's cool. Okay, the next thing is to go back up and take a circle. So over this one, we're not dragging a perfect circle. We're doing something like this. So bring it over here. Okay. So now do your Control 1 again. I'm going to select the same color for it. This is how we got this created. Very interesting, right? So make sure you group them together all at once. So they are grouped and you have this color. So if we want to maintain this color, we would use this color, but unfortunately, we are not going to use this particular color I have right now, but it has helped me to actually set my work up the way I want it. So what else do I need? I have to change the color to match what I want. So we're going to use blue color to get this done. But what type of blue are we looking forward to using? So let's do it. Now to change the color, select this one, then come over here to solid. So when you come to solid, we're going to have this particular kind of color right here. So we have to be sure of the color we are using. So let me show you that. If I click over here right now, you can see over here, I have 0, I have 83, and I have 146. Then this is the hex code in case you want to use it. So we have used this color right now. This is great. So we have this. So we're going to create another card. But before we do that, if you look at what is actually going on right here, right now, you will see that there is some kind of inconsistency, but you couldn't get it easily. So now the space here seems to be the same thing, but we want to actually bridge a gap here. So we don't want to move this manually. What we can do now is just to go over to home. From home, go to find and select. Then you click on select objects. So I'm going to select this one. Then right click and group. Just group it. So select these ones over here. Make sure nothing else is selected except what is within the circle. And go over here and do group. Then do this selection as well. Do this. This is better instead of you doing manual selection. So finally, I get this done. So once I've done this now, the next thing I'm going to do is just to come over here and click on this one alone, then drag it to this end here. So because this particular place here will be a space between my charts, so I'm going to just do this, which is nice, right? Then I can actually have it opened up right now by holding my control key. I select all of them. I come over here. I go over to, I think here on the shape format, and I'll distribute horizontally. So nicely done. This is what you need to do. Okay, the next thing is this. We want to go to the top ribbon, go to insert, and quickly bring up a rectangle, just like this particular one. So drag it down, and for it to be on the same page, we have to go to the top here. We check what will be the height and the width. So let us use 2.69. So we do that by what? Let's do it by 3.79. 3.79. The height and the width has been set, so make sure you actually check it out. So once we have done this, we're going to keep this over here. So maintain this space. To maintain this space right now, what you can do, you can actually move this here. If you are very much saturated with the space you have here, we want to keep a space here. Now hold your control key, select this one. Now go over to the top, go to here, align. You align this one to the right hand corner. Then you can see we have the same alignment. Seems to be the same alignment, but a little bit weird. Because when we select this, this is what it's using to actually get it justified for us. So for that, we have to use our eyes to set it. I'm going to have to move it manually myself. Okay, I'm cool with this spacing right here. And for the space at the top here, I think is somehow okay as well. So don't bother about this one if it is covered. So we'll fix it later after all. Okay, think here. The next thing we're going to do right now is for me to duplicate this and move it right here. All right, behind the scene, I have just gotten this created. And if you want to see the size I'm using for this right now, I can actually click over here. Then for the height, I have 2.7. The weight is actually 2.22. And for this one as well, if I click on it right now, you can see what I'm using for it, 2.69 and 1.76. So the same thing over here, if I click on it, you can see 2 and 3.08. And finally, this particular one right here will give us something similar to it. Okay, 2 and 4.82. But the thing is this, we're not going to use this particular color. I'm going to hold my control key, select all of them, and quickly I'm going to do control 1. And I'm going to shock you with the color we're going to use right now. So we're going to use white color. And this white color blends a lot because this one is white, but not as white as this one. So for we to bring or reveal what we have behind it, right click and send this to back. So we now have all of this right here, right? So it is time for we to set up our dashboard to look beautiful. So now what I'm going to do for the first time is go over to the top here, or still I can use the previous one I have used here, which is this. So Control C, then Control V to paste it. I'm going to get this one over here. So quickly, the color should be changed. Let's go with something like this. Then we'll resize this, something like this. So I'm going to do top, So for my top, it should be somewhere around here. Then remember this first one here is our top option button. So we move it. So if you have issue with the movement of this one, all you have to do is to place a cursor. Instead of you to left click, you just right click and to activate the edit mode for you. You understand? Then you just move it like this. So let's just keep this right here. So we're going to get this one duplicated. So we do the bottom right here. So I'm going to keep this right here. All right. So if you find out that the name of the button is actually sending the button behind, what you can do is to make sure you select a button, and over here you cannot find bring to front. So I'm going to hold my control key to select this one as well. I'll go over to the top here. I'll come over here and I will just use bring forward. I can say bring to front. So now it will send the text behind. So now this is working. For this one here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll make sure I have this one right here. Beautiful. So now I'm going to keep this one in here. So I have to resize it a bit. Okay. So Ctrl+1 to remove the fill and the outline from it. This is beautiful. So now we have to consign ourselves about the color we want to actually use for this, which is very, very important. So we need to use a color for it. So what color do we decide? Let's find out. So I'm going to come over here. For the first time, click on it. Go over to this particular place where it says series options and actually, the gap width. Something like this is cool, right? Then for the color, we click over here. We come over here and we can go here and select the color of our choice. So let us mix the color. I'm going to do 31. Then I'm going to do 140. Finally, I'm going to do 179. So here is the color I just mixed. So I'm going to click on OK. Let's go back. So here is 31, 140. Yeah, 140. So now, so I create something like this. So if you look at it, this color matches the color we have right here. So, and it has a relationship with this kind of color. Don't just invent the color that shouldn't be here. So once we have done this, you can actually stretch this around. And now it is time for we to come with the label. So we have something like this. So if I get this one here, I'm going to duplicate it. So bring it down. So you remember those particular ones we've created to actually make sure it helps us to explain what the chart is all about. I'm going to stretch this one to the side and go over to the top view formula bar. And first of all, put an equal sign here. Let's go to analysis 3. So it's time for we to get to the first caption. So here's OK. So now, this is giving us the top profitable location, and we have to be specific about it because right now it's not making any damn sense. So we need to actually make sure it's giving us the top 5 and the bottom 5. You understand now? So let's quickly look at what I'm talking about. So if I go over to here again now, here we are. So I'm going to put here, let's do 5. And here we go, we have the 5. So I'm going to do 5. So we go back. Now we can see this. This is what you should actually do to be more detailed and specific. Okay, once we have done this, this is cool. We need to go over here. We can increase the weight of it like this. So for the color, let's select something very calm. All right. So I'm going to get 8 out of this one here, move it down, click on it, Control C. Now Control Z to take this one back. Now Control V to paste the one you've copied. This is one I've copied. So Control 1, then the transparency should almost be removed. Something like this is cool. Then hold your Shift key to do something like this. And I'm going to keep this right here. Nicely done. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to come here, click inside here. So once you click, you're going to have this. You can actually bring this down. So it creates a space. So over here, I'm going to do duplicate of this one. So we just highlight with the equals. We go over here, we pick the second one. So for this one here, I'm going to make sure I have 2 lines. So these 2 lines will be okay for me. So go over here and select the same color we have used. Then I'm going to do this. Then we can just maintain this. All right. So Ctrl D to actually have it duplicated. This time around, we are going to move the value. So move this. So for the value here, we need to have it increased. Okay. So we want the value to match our dashboard, our chart color. So something like this. All right. So let's go. Okay, we can get this one duplicated. Ctrl D, Ctrl 1, and change it to this color. Step out. So can you see this now? So it makes a lot of sense when somebody clicked on or checked this particular one. So it's giving us top 5 profitable location. I can come over here and select, and I'm seeing it by customers, right? So let's do this. So you have to be patient to get this done. This is what we have. So if I select the bottom one now, it's giving me the less 5 profitable customers. And if I change the location, the value change and everything here is absolutely dynamic. All right, let us go to the top ribbon again. And now we are going to go to the insert, illustrations, and shapes. And we're going to get the same shape again. So drag the shape right here. So I'm aiming at this size. So very important, something like this. So I'm going to do Ctrl 1, then I'm going to have to use the gradient. So turn off the outline from here, right? So for the gradient, I'm going to take off one out of the stops. So I'm going to do this. So right away, I'm going to just come over here and select the kind of position I want, something like this. So for this particular part right here, I want to select the color I want to use for it. Let's go with this dark color. So for the next one, let's go with this color. This is beautiful. So for the top one here, I think this color will be okay. So we can play around it how we want this to go. So it depends. So if I go over here and select white, we can bring this and bring the white down for the white to reflect here. So we can actually change how it looks over here. We can do something like this. So take the white away and make it to be at the edge like this. So something like this is what we have created, right? Which is awesome. So for this white here, let's quickly change it to not this, but something like this. Okay. Now we want to add a text without using the text box. We just go ahead and type in customer. Sorry, I have to close this first. So now we type customer analysis. So this customer analysis does not make any sense, but how do we make it to look better? So go to the top ribbon here. Now you click on home. From home, we have this particular part right here. So if I hover over it, it's going to tell us that this is actually orientation. So if I select the orientation, I can do anything I want. So click on this, we have something like this. So if you select this particular first one, you have something like this. I don't like something like this. Instead, I'm going to use the second one here. So something like this is what I have. So quickly, I'm going to push it in the middle of it. Then I can go ahead and increase the text or the font size to look better and give me exactly what I want. So reduce it once. So now here we have this for customer analysis. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to view and hide the formula bar for me to reveal this particular part. So Ctrl D to get it duplicated. So we just bring this down. Okay, so we just bring this down. Over here, we type time frame. So look at it now. So what have I done? It separates this particular part right here from this one. You can actually tell what kind of analysis is going on right here. This is what you can do to make your dashboard look better. Next on our list is to show our profitability by customer age. Not just the age, but the age group. Let's check it out. If I go over to the top ribbon, remember we have our data passed through Power Query before we loaded it inside Power Pivot. So I'm going to double click over here to activate the Power Query. And over here, you'll see that we have here the customer age, right? So if I actually go over here and scroll all the way down, you can see we have 71 as the max and 18 as the minimum. So how can we actually create different buckets for this particular age we have right here? In case you are missing something, maybe you still have your normal customer date of birth right here and you have not converted it to age. So the first video will be your friend. So you have to watch that and it will actually show you how I got it done. Okay. What I'm going to do right now is to go over to Add Column. From Add Column, I'm going to choose this particular conditional column here. So with my conditional column here, I'm going to do customer age group. Okay. So I'm going to have to look for my age group. I'll insert on that one, my age group. I will insert on that one again. I'll select my age group. So I have, I'm going to have 4 of them on that one. Then I'm going to put in my age group. Okay, over here now, what we're going to do, we're going to look at if it is less than or equal to 20. Less than or equal to 20. So anything less than or equal to 20 should actually be categorized from 0 to 20, which is age 0 to 20. Now this one as well, we're going to select less than or equal to. So let's do the same thing, less than or equal to. Let's just use less than or equal to. Remember, for the remaining one that is here like equals, does not equal, is actually meant for something very important. In case you are thinking like, why don't we use all of this one here and we are actually using less than or equal to? This is actually what is peculiar to what we are doing currently. So over here, I'm going to do 30, just like we have 10 years in Dara. So for 30 now, it will be 21 to 31. Sorry, 21 to 30. So we come over here, we do 40. it will definitely be 31 to 40. Then over here we do 50. So check it out. So for 50, it will be 41 to 50. Now, for this particular one right here is giving us 50. So I'm going to do 50 plus. So what I'm going to do now is going to be this. Let's do, if I do 50 plus, that plus will not come as plus. We can trick it. What we'll do now is we cannot do 51 and we use the plus sign right here. It will not work. So let us use the plus. Later, after all, we're going to take it off. So 50 plus right here. That is beautiful. So if you check what I've done right here, anything from 0 to 20 will be categorized under 20 or under 0 to 20. So anything from 30 below 30 will be from 21 to 30. Anything below 40 and equal to 40 will be from 31 to 40. Because this one starts from 21 and it's going to stop at 30. This one will start from 31, stop at 40, 41 at 50. And this one will start its own counting from 51, which is something very important that you need to take note of. So let us go ahead and add it up. So we have this. So for the 50 plus, we want to use the plus sign. So what can we do? So we can right click and go to replace value. So replace the plus. So we want to make sure it's correct because it's case sensitive. So we can actually use normal plus right here and we click on OK because now it is text. So we can see we have 50 plus, right? So this is all we have to do right here. The next thing is for you to go and close and load. Then watch it. It's going to actually start loading right in here for us. Okay, right now, let us go ahead and remove this from here. So we have a new pivot table right here. So we can actually bring in our profit and have this one closed. The next thing we have to do is to go to our customer table. We have a new column, which is the customer age group. Then we drag it in. So over here, we have this. This is what we actually need to get this done. So we're going to have the calculation done. And that calculation is to know what is the average age of our customer. To get the average age of our customer right here, we can actually go with this. So let me actually create a new pivot table and show you something, because there's a huge difference between using this kind of way to analyze the data and using normal sheet to contain your data and you connect a pivot table to it. So if I actually go ahead and remove this one away from here, get the profit removed as well, now we go ahead and push in the customer age. For the customer age is giving us a count. So if I go ahead and right click and I want to go into value field settings here, so I can actually see that I have this. So if I choose the average and I can do this now, let's see what number we have. So we have 45 as the average, which is very, very correct, right? So what if I go ahead and remove this now? I assume that is not correct. I remove it. And I want to bring in my customer age group here. And I go ahead to calculations. I bring in the profit into the value area. So let us try to do the same thing we've done previously. So over here now is default to percentage. I'm going to right click and say don't summarize. So go to value as, okay, I think, why am I having it? Oh, sorry, I'm using this one. So we can actually say total refund. We can use total refund to do it. So if I right click now and I go to value field settings right here, you can see this is grayed out. We cannot use any of this. So the question you might be having now is that why can't we do this when we can do it over the count of the customer age? So this is because this is a measure, not is an explicit measure, not an implicit measure. This one is what we created ourselves. In case you want to verify if that is true, you can right click on this one, edit measure, and over here you can see the dark code that actually powers the calculation that shows the value we have right here. So if I go ahead and drag in my customer age into the value area right now, the customer age is giving me a count. So we can quickly right click and go to what? Go to value field settings, and all of this will be active. So this is going to give us, some kind of way to explain what this is now. They are both measures. This is actually explicit. So here is actually implicit. So the implicit measure is automatically generated by pivot table for us. The explicit measure is what we defined using either function or using DAX to get that done. You get it right now. So this is what it is. So if you must do an average of values one, you have to write a DAX that will calculate the average for you. You can't just do right click and you go over here and you think you can just see the average the way you see it over here. So now we've taken the average of every person's under here. So I can actually go ahead now, Control 1, and go to number. So take off the extra decimal. So the average age of persons under 0 to 20 is 19. Under 21 to 30 is 26. Under 50 plus is 60. Under 41 to 50 is actually 45. That is it. So what we're looking forward to seeing is the overall average. So what I'm going to do right now, let's get this one off. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the total refund. Then the customer age from here, I'm looking for just one of this average. So remember, you can use DAX to do this. Let us try it with DAX. So go over to this and click on Power Pivot. Click on Measure, New Measure. And now we are in the calculation. So average customer age. So for the average customer age, we have the average function over here, and we have age, which is customer age. Do not use the one that has been grouped. So we want to use the column that has to do with the average, with the age of our customers. And remember, the age of our customers column is actually whole number data type. So it's value. So if I go ahead and click on number, I just want a whole number with no decimal place. I'm going to click on OK. So this should be able to produce the same 45 for us if it is very correct. So it's working through it. Just give it some time. So can you see it now? They both give us the same thing. This one was created using just the right click and average it. And over here, we have to write a DAX that will help us to actually average the same thing we are looking forward to seeing. So now we have the average, and over here, we have another pivot table. So we need to actually create something between this. So I'm going to do here, large. So now we go ahead and create a new chart for it. So I'm going to go with this chart. So take off any of these ones from here. So let's go ahead and have this hidden. Then for this one here, to make our chart clean, we have to have it removed. And the total should be gone as well. So if you look at it, we still have this one disturbing. So we can just minimize it. So this number is some kind of huge. If I try to go ahead and turn on the data label right now, so it's a huge number. So if I shrink this, it cannot fit. So what can I do to make sure I make it right? So I use the custom number formatting I already have defined, which is this particular one right here. So this is what it is. So it makes sense than the previous one. Beautiful, right? Okay. Now, we did sort it. Doesn't make sense sorting it because we want this particular 0 to 20 to come first and all of that. So for our sorting, we can right click here and we can choose sort. Let's do Z to A. Does it take an effect? Sort, A to Z. So now this is better. So 0 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, and 50 plus is better, like this to read it. So this is how we can actually create this chart, right? So we Ctrl X to cut it. We're right here. So we have to paste this down and we'll take it and have it right here. So now we just have to make sure we utilize the space we have here. So let's click on this one and do Ctrl+1 to find out what is the weight. It's 85. So we're going to do the same 85 over on this one. Be consistent with whatever you do. So 85 should look great. Now that is better. Okay, so go over here and take off this. Sorry. So the solid fill. Yes. So select this alone and no line and no fill. So we can now stretch it. So take your time to stretch it out. So we have something like this. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to actually come over here and get this one, Ctrl-D to duplicate it. So over here, I'm going to just type in average customer age. So I'm going to keep my average customer age right here. So I'll get this one duplicated as well. So I'll keep it over here. So in fact, I'm going to hold them together, Ctrl+1. I'm going to reduce the transparency. So let's deal with this. So nicely done. So we've gotten this one duplicated as well. So what I'm going to have over here is going to be customer age. So let's give it 12. 12 will be cool. Okay. Can you see this now? This is interesting. Okay, we're done with this. We have a very nice chart right here that you might be thinking like, how can I create it? Maybe you have been waiting for this. That is what we're about to do, showing profit by gender using what I call is a waffle chart. I think it's called waffle chart. So we're going to use that right away. All right. To create our next chart that shows our percentage of profit by gender, male and female, then what do? We don't want to create, some kind of basic chart that is available out there. We want to do something different. So what I'm going to do right now is to come over here. So when I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and get this one duplicated. So it's not going to grow beyond this. I can put it beneath here. So I'm going to take off the customer. I'm going to take off this one as well. So what I need to have here is my profit. So I'm going to just break it down by the gender we have right here, which is very, very important. So once we have done this now, what we can do is to make sure we have what? We have this shown as a percentage. Very, very important. So we want to show it as a percentage. Okay, to show this as a percentage, what we can do is just to make sure we right click on this and we just go to show value as percentage of grand total. Now we have it as a percentage right here as grand total. So we can do what we're about to do, or the kind of chart, the waffle chart we're about to create right in here. So I'm going to add a new sheet to it. So with this new sheet now, I'm going to type in gender chart. So for my gender chart right here, I'm going to link this one to male, this one to female. So although it is only one we're going to utilize, only one percentage, but notwithstanding, I'm going to bring in the 2 percentages right in here. So go over to here. So for male, I have this. And for female, I'm going to have this for my female gender. Very important. So quickly, we just have to make sure I give you guys a nice view. Let's do 120. All right, nicely done. So once we have done this, very importantly, what next do we do? The next thing we are going to do right now is to make sure we create number from 1 to 100. So if you're using Excel 2020, 21 and above, or 365, you're going to have an advantage over what we call sequence. So sequence is actually a function that you can actually use to actually create some random numbers, right? So for the rows, we want 10 rows. For the column, we want 10 columns. So if I go ahead and close and hit my enter key right now, automatically we have this. Okay, the next thing I would love to do is to make sure I some kind of sort this descending order, right? To sort it now, we have another function called sort. So sort, so go here. Now it's asking for array. If I click on this now, here serves as my array. As you can see, you have the number showing up on the array. So if I do my comma, it's asking me for sort index. So I'm not going to give anything. I'll skip it with that comma again. Now I'm going to sort descending. So sorting descending, if I do this, I hit my enter key. Now it's having my 100 over here instead of having my 10 here. My 1 is here and 91 is here, which is better. So I want to convert this one to a percentage. So what I'm going to do is to do divide by 100. So I have it as a percentage. So if you want to see if this is true percentage, so Control 1 and do percentage without decimal. So do this and you have 100% here. The question you might have in mind is like, why should we convert this to percentage? Okay, the reason why we did that was because these values here, they are actually all in percentage form. So we have to do that. Okay, we have achieved this. The next thing we want to do right now is to make sure we actually represent everything here with icons. So what kind of icons are we looking forward to having them on? So I'm going to come over here. Let's move this to here. So now I'm going to say icon. So for my first icon, I can use the window and the full stop will bring this for me. And I can click over here to get to my icon. So I'm going to use this symbol here. Now for my icon now, if I use this one that has the arrow left and right pointing, so I can just scroll down to select different thing. So I'm going to go with this one. So for my second icon, I wouldn't click off, or I can click off here. So do this again. Windows key on your keyboard and the full stop will bring you this. Select this and select here. And let's look for circle. So I'm going to go with a circle like this. So it's optional. It depends on what you want to use. Right now, we have those right here. So it is time for we to actually get it the way we want. So do you remember when I told you that we are going to only use one percentage, and the percentage we're going to use is the male percentage right here. So let me give it a color. So font color, let's go with something like a green color with bold, and let's go with 14. I'm going to click on OK. So this is the one we're going to use. So over here, we want to actually get these icons in here. So the icon we want to use for our male gender should be this icon. For the female gender, it should be this circle. So I'm going to click on this first one. Remember, always click on this first one because that was where we started our generation from. So it split automatically to this one because we did not drag it left and right and down to the bottom. So when you click over here, you see this one will become gray. You can select it, right? So if you want to make selection, you come over here and you can now see this visible. So we're going to be using the if condition. So using the if right here, I'm going to say if this particular whole thing here is actually greater than this, then give me this particular icon for male. Otherwise, give me this icon for female. You get it right now. So let's go ahead and do this. Can you see it? So we have these icons. Oh my goodness, you might be thinking, like, what the heck have you done? Okay, nicely done. What else do we do? Where is our next line of action? So our next line of action right now is actually in the conditional formatting. How do we go ahead and format this with different colors? We can change the colors by selecting this. So go to the top ribbon. So make sure you click on home, and over here we can choose any color of our choice. We can even use red, any of this color. You can see it's reflecting. But I'm going to tell you firsthand, this does not make any sense. Ctrl-Z to bring it back to the original version of it. So what you have to do is to use conditional formatting to change the color. So just highlight this area, then go over to this home, come over here. So if you want to clear any row you have on it, you can do clear from entire sheet, or still you can clear from the current one. That is what this clear is all about. For the new role, you actually create a new role. For the manage role, you edit the previous roles. Let us go to new role. So for the new role, we select use formula to determine what you want. So over here, select here and select this first one. So make sure you remove this to avoid locking the cell so that it could actually split to the other part of it. So which means if this cell 10, cell C10 is not, so using less than and greater than would mean not, NOT. If it is not this particular one, we want to change the color. So which means the circle should have a new color right now. So we can come over here and choose any color we have here, or we can create a color and go to custom to create a new color using the RGB. So over here, I'm going to use 0. Over here, I'm going to put it at 112. Over here, we're going to do 192. So we can just mix our color like this, and I click on OK. So if I click on OK right now, you can see this color has been changed for me. So what about this? Interesting, right? This is exactly what you can actually do. So for the second one is as simple as ABC. So we can actually do what we have done right now to get it done. So go over to the same place. Here we go, manage, new. Come over here, select this place and select here and take off this, then take off this very one from here. And now we say if it is not, this time around we are using circle because already our circle has been given its color. So we want to change color for what? For this particular square we have right here. So go over here and go over here, select this, and let's go to custom to customize the color we want to have for it. So we can use this. And this one is going to be 159. So let's do it by 230. And lastly, for the blue should be 255. So here we go. So we have something like this. So this is it. The next thing we have to do right now is to make sure this particular top here is clear from text or anything like pivot table or whatever it is. That was why we moved this here. So start selecting from here down to this particular one. So if I right click, you can see where we have the column width. So for the column width right here, let's use 1.29. So if I click on OK, so we have something like this, which is better. So that is the column width. So the next thing we have to check right now is to actually manage the row width. So start from here and down to here. So you right click and you do the row width, or the height rather. So this one is going to be 10.5. So you can choose the one you want to use, but this is what I want. So this is what we have gotten right here. Can you see it now? Okay. Now this is looking great, but not really great until we go over to the top. Click on view and the grid lines should be turned off. Now we have something like this. So we can now copy this, Ctrl+C, and go over to our dashboard right here and select any cell. Don't select any object, select any cell. Go over to home and you have paste. We click on link picture. So with the link picture, we now have a new chart right here. So we can bring this into here. So can you see this now? This is what we have done. So one other beautiful thing you can do is for you to go back. If to go back now, we can double click on it and it takes us back right here. So we can actually come over to home and we increase the size. Can you see now? So we can actually do this because it's just like text. So we can increase the visibility of it. So if you keep increasing, you can see the size is changing. So if this is what you want, you can keep this. So let's go with this. So just click on save to save it. Let's go and see if it reflects on the one we have here. Definitely it does reflect. So doing this now can open it up, but it would actually, every single time you make this, it might makes it look weird. So if you want to actually make any adjustment, make sure you delete this and go and make the adjustment over here. Make the adjustment over here first and be very saturated. So what I'm saying now is this. What if I just come over here for the height? Let me do right click and go to row height. So let's do, instead of 0.5, let's do 0.7. So that doesn't really affect it very well. So let's do 11. So nicely done. So 11 is cool because we want some of those parts that's cut off to actually get here. So now Ctrl C, we're back here. I can right click and I just link, paste link, not link. So you go to paste pressure. And now we don't have the link picture over here. So which means the only way to do that now is to go over to the top ribbon, click on home, paste, and this paste link. Don't use picture, just paste link is okay. So now we have something like this again. So we can bring it into here. And now it is time for we to actually make sure we make our dashboard looks very beautiful. So I'm going to bring it down a bit. So over here, we're going to copy this. By gender. So nicely done. All right. So how do we tell the story of the circle and the square? It's very simple. I can go over to the top here, go to home, illustrations, shapes, and I'm going to get this. I will just have this here. I will make it as small as I want. That will tell the story of what this one is. Okay, so Ctrl+1, we go ahead and pick the color. Here is the color right here. Then for the outline, we don't want to have any outline. So we can keep this right at this particular part. Okay, nicely done. So for the circle, we can get to use this one, duplicate it and move this down here. For this one, we have transparency on it. We want to remove the transparency out of it. Then we select the color, which is this very color here. That matches this very color. Can you see it now? So that is cool. So the next thing we're going to do now is to get this one duplicated and bring it over here. We type what gender it is. So to verify it now, what we can do, this one is giving us, let's go over to our gender chart. So for the gender chart right here, if you look at it, this is actually 51%. So what we can do right now to be very much saturated is going over to analysis 3. And over the analysis 3, we can actually go ahead and insert a slizer on it. So let us insert a slizer over the date, right? So let's go with the month. So add slizer. So let's just cut this. Before we cut the slizer, let's cut the slizer and bring it over to this part here. So now, if I select January here, so what is 53%? Select April, 50, select June. You can see, so January here gives us 53%. The whole chart gives us 100%. So if this is giving us 53% right now, we can now see that this particular blue part right here, this dark blue, is actually the one that is for male gender. So if I actually select multiple months, and let's see, with multiple months now, we can select multiple months like this. So we have 52%, which means this is actually 50% plus this one gives us 52%. And here we have 40%. From here to here is 7. That is 47% that we have right here. You understand? So automatically, this is actually our male gender. So we can now go over here and we do female. So we duplicate it. We get this one over here. So here is our male. So if I select both of them, I will just come over here to select this, calm color. Okay, it's okay. The color is okay. So now we have this. So Ctrl D to duplicate this one here. So let us go ahead and pick up the percentage that is peculiar to the female, which is this one over here. Then duplicate it. And now we pick up the percentage that is peculiar to the male gender. So which is this particular one over here? So do you get it now? So I would love to match the color. So let's go over here, increase it. I'm going to make it bold to pop up very well. Then match the color quickly. So on this one, if I want to select the color, it will look a little bit weird. Like this one now, it doesn't pop out very well, but I'm going to select the color that is similar to it, like this very one now. So bolding it now will show it not quite well. But what if we go over here and select a darker version of it by bringing it down like this would solve the problem. So what about this? Just increase it. So this is what it is. This is how you can actually create this particular chart. So let's come over here and move it a bit. So this is what you have. Nicely done for you. So we still have a lot to cover. Don't go nowhere, because right here, as you can see, this is actually working very well and it's functioning very well. So if we try to create another type of the same option button again, there will be problems. So how do we solve that problem is what we're going to look at still in this particular, part of the tutorial. We're actually still going right now. So let's see what is next. All right. The next step in our analysis right now is actually doing this particular one I have on selection. So the first one says profitability over time. This includes a profit trend and month-over-month growth rate, so which could help in identifying seasonal patterns or trend in sales effectiveness. Now we have profitability by weekday. Analyzes which days of the week generate the most profits, useful for staffing and marketing efforts. So how do we do this? It's very important. Let's get it. So over here, we are actually back to where we left, which is, yes, this very one here. So we're going to concern ourselves much about those two right here. So to create a trend, we are still going to be on this analysis. So we're going to copy this very pivot table from here. So now we create a new pivot table. So to create a new pivot table, before we actually start creating it, let's go over here and change the color so that you can actually give this a demarcation to know that this one stands on its own. So now we can copy. So you can actually have it pasted right in here. So straight up, we don't need to keep the gender. So we have a date table. This date table contains the custom date we've created using Power Query. So I have the month over here. So if you look at the month, it's affected by what I have selected from here. So we don't need to keep this for now. I'm going to have it deleted. So we just use that to do some setup. So going over to here now, it's still affecting it. I'm going to go ahead and say clear. So the filter has been cleared. So in case your on is not sorted from January down to December, that means you have to go to your Power Pivot over here. So click on manage. And once you click on manage, wait for it. So go to the table that is having that issue, date table. So make sure you highlight the month and go over here to sort by and click on sort by column. So once it pops up, you have to make sure you select the column you want to use to sort it. So I sorted my own with month number. So which is this particular month number? Do the same thing to weekday, sorted by week number, just using the sort by column right here. And that is all you need to do. Okay, we are back here right now. We have actually gotten this in here and it's showing the percentage profit margin. It's showing percentage. Why is that? We can actually take it out from percentage. So go to show value as and say no calculation. Now we have this. Okay. Now that we have gotten this created, I want to create something again. So Control C. I'm going to create a new pivot table right here. So on this new pivot table, I'm going to use one for my charts and that one for the label, right? So let's say this one over here, we want to see the month over month change. So percentage change, go to show value as and do percentage difference. So don't say from February, use the previous and click on OK. So we have this. If you had been following this tutorial, you would know that I'm a fan of plus and minus. So when we have growth, I want to have plus. When I have something that is actually negative, I want to have minus. But Excel is actually very smart enough to tell when we are not growing. So it gives us minus. What about the plus? How do we do it? So highlight this particular area. So do Control 1 and go to custom. Under custom, we can actually customize it right here. I think I have gotten something like that done before now, which is this very one. I'm going to copy it to the screen that you can see it better. So copy this and click on OK right here. So if I paste this over here now, you can see what I have. So type this exact number inside the custom format and you would have plus and minus. Okay, this one here is cool. So we can actually create our chart with it. So let's go ahead and create our chart. So go to insert and go ahead and create a line chart like this one. But unfortunately, I'm not going to use this to create my chart because I want to create the chart that I will be able to customize the way I like it. So for that, I have to reference this. Click on OK. Now I stretch it this way. I copy down and I have something like this. So we have to make sure we format it. Let's go and have it formatted like this. So I'm going to reference this. I'm going to say 2. Or I can just copy this right here and copy this down. Oh no, it's giving me 0 because it's moving from here. So what I would have done is just to reference the same thing over here. And now if I copy down, so I'm going to say new chart. All right, select both of them. So Ctrl+1 to quickly format them. I can use the custom number formatting I have. So it's optional. You don't need it though. So I have this. So create my chart with this one first. Go over to a line chart. So I don't want to keep this series here. I don't want to keep this. The outline should be gone. And click on this Ctrl+1. And we go over to this one. So we want to use a smooth line. So use a smooth line like this. So after using the smooth line, let's go over here to the marker and we select a marker for it. So for the marker, we go over to marker here. So we select bullet in. So we select the circle. Now we have this. So we just go ahead and make sure we match it to the color we are using on our dashboard. And this is the color for the chart. I'm going to be sure of the color I'm using for my chart. So this color, select here to verify it. So it is this particular color right here. In case you can't remember it, you can easily copy the color codes to reuse. So go back here. So now we select this, Ctrl+1. So first of all, we change the color. By clicking over here, you can paste it in and you click on OK. Right? So once you've done that, for the dots, this very one here, so we go over here, we click on marker, we click on this one, we actually scroll down. It's not the first on the list of our color. Select this one, change it. So now we have this. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to actually right-click on this and go to Add Data. So when I click on Add Data, we are about to add the next series to it. So just click on Add. So series name should be New Chart. And over here, I'm going to take off this one and select all of this particular part right here to get this in. I'm going to click on OK, click on OK here. So with this, we can right click and select change series chart type. And over here, this new chart here, I'm going to select this one and I use the area chart. Something like this. So can you see it now? So it is time for we to play around with the chart we have now. So how do we go ahead to make sure we have a very nice look of chart? Okay, select this. Make sure this one is visible. You can move this here. Okay, select the inner one. When you select the inner one, what is selected is actually the area chart. So you go to gradient. If I were to go to gradient, I am going to have something like this. So if I scroll down, this one is on 0%. This one here, we're going to create 3 steps. I'm going to move it here. Double click to add a new step to it. We have a new step here. So which is important. So the next thing we have to do right now is to change the color. So what if we decide to change the transparency here? It wouldn't help much. So let's go over here now. So was it there? Not there. Let's go over here and choose what we want to use. So we can go with something that looks, let's select from the top here. Okay, the reflection should be up like this. So now we can move this one and swap it for this one like this, right? So can you see it now? So we can now choose the color of our choice, which is this color here. This one here, we're going to choose the same color, or we can make it transparent, right? So for this very one here, we can choose the same color. We can make it more transparent. Put it at 90. This very one, we select the same color. So we can put this one at 95. So 95 looks better. So you can see what we have done here. So now this is what it is. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to bring in my data label. So select this one, come over here, add data label to it. So as you can see, it looks a little bit, awkward, right? Don't worry. Select the numbers and you come over here, click on this and now go to label option. So you select value from cell. You now select this area. Even if this one has blank or nothing, make sure you select it, then click on OK. Then go ahead and turn off this value here. This is what you have. All right, so let's take this one to our dashboard now. So we have a little work to do here. So we can go over to here, select this, click on this, and now we select above. Beautiful. So when we select above, we have something like this. So we select the inner one, go to the gradient we are using to bring this back up again. Select this one and let us reduce it a bit. So just take control and make sure you create something you really love. So take your time to just adjust this over and over again until you are very cool and satisfied with what you have. So right now, I think this looks beautiful. So all I have to do is just to extend this. So go over to here, no fill and no line. So we have something like this. Select the inner part of it and bring this down. It wouldn't distort your chart. Nicely done. So what is next? We have to get some title, right? So we just need one title. So I'm going to do Ctrl D. Then I move this down here. So quickly we have to just do this. So this one will be profits trend. So profit trend and month over month growth rates. So you can select this particular part right here, Ctrl B to bold it. So I want to be the focus, telling what this is all about. So if you want to read this now, let us take a look at it. So it's telling us that between January and February, there is 0.0. So if we go back to the main chart where we have it created, so the growth is 0.0. Then the growth here is plus. This is a plus. So if I go ahead and reveal what is behind that 0 now, you can see we have just 0.02%. But we don't want to show that. We just want to show this. So now here we go. We have a chart that shows us what it is that we are looking for, month over month growth right here. Instead of you showing the whole value, doing this will definitely save you a lot of space and you have a good work. So very simple. The last chart we want to do right here, we can just do it on one go. We select the pivot table we have here and Control C to copy. So we go over here to paste the one we've just copied. So once we've pasted it, we highlight this place and we go over here to demarcate it. So now this one is very simple and easy. All we have to do is just to make sure we move the month of it. So we go ahead and open up the date and we have our weekday here. So we have the weekday and the weekday should start from Sunday to Saturday. You understand? If it doesn't start like this, that means something is wrong somewhere. So you want to make sure it's like this. So go ahead and select this part right here, Control 1, and use the custom number formatting we have right here. That is beautiful. So quickly we can create our charts with this because we don't have much changes to do to it. So remove this and take off this very one here. So quickly you get this one off, have this one removed, and over here we just do this. So we are good to go now. So we go ahead and have this done. Control X, we are here. So Control 1, no line, no fill. So for this one, if I click over here, we are using 84. So that 84 should be maintained all through. So I said maintained all through, and that is what we've maintained. So let's select this. So you can see what it is that we have. So here we go. This is what it is. The next thing is for we to actually add the title over here. So Control D will help us to duplicate it. I will just bring this down here. So we do by weekday. Profits by weekday. So right now you can see it's taking shape and we still have a lot to do because we want to do by products. So if I go over to here, now we have achieved this, we have achieved this. So what is left for us to achieve right now is actually product analysis. So here it says details are the top selling products and the most profitable products, as well as product return and refund rate. So this is crucial for inventory management and identifying which products are most valuable to the business or to the company. So how do you actually interpret this? Using your data or the data you have? Let's do it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are still watching up till now, if you have not subscribed, and if you have, the like button is your friend, and always leave a question for me to answer because I would love it most. All right, if you open the PDF you've downloaded, you're going to see this particular part right here that says product. This is what you're about to be dealing with right now. So look at the detail. It says the top selling and most profitable products, as well as product return and refund rate. So let us look at it. We need to actually create the top selling products, as well as check what is the return rate and as well the refund rate. So this is crucial for inventory management and identifying which products are most valuable to the business. So if you were asked to actually do this, what would you do? Can you pause it right now and go ahead to the dataset and do it if you already have it downloaded? Then come back and watch what I've done. All right, we are here. First of all, let us look at what is return rate. Return rate is what is the rate? It's like a ratio calculation. Now we have numbers of return recorded and we have total quantities sold. Now the division between the two numbers will give you the rate of return. Then every single time there is a return of products back to our company, we refund money back to the customers, right? Now we want to calculate what is the ratio. When the ratio is above 20 to 30%, which is very bad to the company. So we are looking forward to something very, very lower than that. So the company can use the return rate and the refund rate to make decisions based on their product. Okay, to get started right now, the very first thing I want to do, I want to actually make sure I bring up, let's see, where is our field lists? Show field lists. Okay, here comes the field list right here. So we're going to create 3 KPIs. The first KPI we're going to create is actually our numbers of products, which is the numbers of products we sell. So we have the right here. In case you are thinking like, how did you calculate these 100 products? Let me show you the measure that did that. So I did measure. And over here, we use distinct count. You might be thinking, why must we use distinct count over the fact table? Why not the product table alone? So if you count the product table, it will count those products that had never gotten sold since or over time. You get it? So for we to only account for those particular products that had left the warehouse or the shelf right now, we do that over this particular fact table and its product ID. All right, the next thing now is for we to actually create a new measure. Go over to Power Pivot right here and click on your measure. Now we click on this particular one here. So we are going to check where we want to save this writing. We want to actually push it into calculations. Then we actually call this one return rate. So for the return rate, we are looking forward to say, okay, now divide for us the quantity return. That is return quantity. So we divide that by what? By the total quantity. So we have the quantity sold right here. So quantity sold is in the fact table. Just hold on. Okay, it's a measure. So once we've done this, we'll check it out. There is problem right here. So let's do 0 and check it out. Okay, this problem happens because this is not a measure. We can't use it. This is actually a column. So calculation error in measure. So you can read through the error right here. But how do we solve this? What if I use the sum function over here? So with the sum function, we can actually, so with some function, we can actually turn this one to an embedded measure inside here. So we go ahead and close this. So let's check it out now. So can you see? So if already we have gotten this one calculated as a measure that calculates the total quantity sold, would have used it right here. But right now, no problem, this works. So we can actually say number, and we go over here, we select this, which is the percentage, right? So we want to leave 2 decimal places. If I go ahead and push it in, let's see what we have. Okay, right now we are having 0. So let's see why we are having 0. If I do my control 1, that was because it was formatted as this value right here. So we have to make sure it's formatted as percentage. So with 2 decimal places like this. So for refund rate, we already have it calculated. So it's going to give us the same thing. let's go over here, click over here, and just do this. Now you have this. So for the refund rate, it's not something complicated. Refund rate is here. We go to edit, we check it out. It's the same thing with two measures, total refund and total revenue. When you do the division, it gives you the ratio, and that is what you need to do. So how can we present this on our dashboard? So let's go back to profit view here. So now that we are here, let's get this one hidden. So we want to show it over here. So the very first thing I want to do now is to actually duplicate either of these ones here to be used. Let's go with something different. So let's go ahead and duplicate this one. Control D to have it duplicated. Move it right here is black, so we have to make sure we change its color. So we can go over here and let's go with this. Beautiful. So I will choose something a bit like this. Okay, I'm gonna double click on it and change it to like product rather. Sold. Then I can reduce this and have it somewhere around here. Then duplicate the same thing and bring it down here. So right now I'm going to actually open this down because I would have to line. So this one will actually be product return rate. So I'm going to go over to my home and I push this way. So we can adjust it and keep it somewhere around here. So Control D again to bring this one down over here. So instead of we having return here, we can have refund over here. So refund rate. Then this is not looking quite well right now. All I have to do is just to make sure I have something that makes them to look beautiful. So now what I'm going to do is just to come over to here. Then let's go to align. Then we distribute horizontally. So we can distribute vertically as well. So beautiful now. We have something like this that looks better. So let's get this one away. Duplicate, and we have it right at this particular spot here. So let's get this one duplicated as well. Control D to duplicate it. So we have it right here. So remember on this one, we actually have transparency on it. If I Control 1, I can go over to here and take off the transparency and have the whole color to show up. So this looks better. So Control D to give it to the second one. Control D would help you to duplicate it. So we have something like this, which is actually what we are looking forward to seeing. So if I Control D and get this one here now, I can quickly go to my view and turn on the formula bar. So from there, we just need to go and grab our total quantity that we have. So this is the quantity here. So quickly, we have to increase the size. So we want to keep the same size with this one. In case you can't remember, I double click it and click over here. You can now see it's 20. So we want to make sure this one is 20 to be very consistent with this thing we have. So it's 24. We can take it and have 20. So this one is going to be right here. So with Control D, I can bring this one down. And that Control D again. Now we have this. So let us go for our return rate. This is return rate here. So we go for refund rate. So we pick the refund rate as well from here. So we have them. We have to just go over here, double click on this one. You can use it as many times as you like if you double click it. So it was not double clicked. So just do this again. So now we have this. So this looks very better right now. So it shows the return rate and the refund rate and how many products we actually sell at a time. So remember how I told you that this is very important to learn about? I'm going to show you what would happen if we don't do it the right way, how it will definitely distort this particular one right here. Over here, we want to show product with the highest profitability and the quantity that is attributed to those particular profitability products. So we want to actually use something like this. Check it out. This is working fine right now. So by the time I go to developer and click on insert and actually bring this particular one into here like this. So I can take this off, then come over here and just do this. And I'm going to keep it right here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it to have the second one. So for the time being, if I click on this right now, it has distorted this. You can see it has switched off this one. Why? They are connected. If I click over this one now, nothing seems to happen. It's fine. By the time I click over here, it actually got this one disconnected. So we cannot use this if we don't find a solution to it. So first of all, what I'm going to do is just to come over on this one. Let's move it down. On this one as well, let's move it down. So I'm going to get the same title here, just make a change to it. So let's get this one over here. It has to be white. So on this one, we're going to do profit, stretch it, and keep it somewhere around here. So we can duplicate it again. And if I bring this over here, so I can have my quantity on this one. So quantity here. So which means I'm going to use this one to identify my profit. So put it right here. Then use this one to identify my quantity. So I talk about controlling it, right? So if I select right now, this is actually interacting. I can't select this one because this particular one here has actually sent the button behind. So what we're going to do now is just to actually come over here. Let's do selection of it. Take it this way. So what I'm going to do now is to hold my control key to select both of them. Go to this particular shape format right here and select bring forward and bring forward. So that will solve the problem for us. You get it? So no matter how it covers, it wouldn't distort it again. So here I can select. So to make sure I actually make this one to be on its own, and this one should function without having to interfere with this one, let's go back to developer here. Click on insert. You're going to see this particular group box right here. So in the group box, I'm going to actually have to take it and do something like this. Make sure these particular buttons will be inside the group box. As you can see right now, it's no more interfering with this one. This one is working on its own. Whenever I click on this one, it doesn't switch off this particular one and make it not working. So take off this particular one right here. So the side effect of this is that whenever you do something like this, it will actually give you some kind of, how do I put this? It will give you border, right? So we want to take off the border. How do we do that? So to take off the border is very simple and easy. Let's do it. So I'm going to select. Okay. So if I go over to Insert, go to Illustration, go to Shapes, I'm going to click on this one that does not have rounded rectangle, select it and cover it up like this. So it has been covered. So let me do my Control 1. Then over here, I'm not going to say solid fill. I'll say no fill. I'll come to the line. I'll make sure there is fill on the line. Then I'll increase the border. After increasing the border like this, I'll make sure it covers the main border I want to actually cover. Then I'll choose to use the same color like this. What's the color again? I think this is the color here. So we can't tell if that is the color. All I have to do is to double click, copy and paste it. So move this. So this gives you the color, which is this one here. Copy the color code from here. So now we don't need to keep this one. Get it off. So click over here. So now we have the color. Let's paste the color code here. So it has vanished. Can you now see what it is that we have right now? This is beautiful. Okay, one other thing I would love to do is just to go over to Insert again. And I'm going to take a line. This time around is a line. So the line should be from here. We're going to use this line for demarcation like this. So I want to make sure this line look shiny. I will go over to gradient. So let's scroll. I want to take just 2 steps. So for this line, I'm going to use white for the one in the middle. White like this. So for this one right here, I'm going to select the same color, click over here and select the same color for it, right? So what if I just do something like this? Okay, now there will be a problem. Let's come over here and look for the one that has something like this. So can you now see it? I can now just do this. Click on this one. Just do something like this. So increase the weight. That will make it look better. Increase the weight. So I told you, you're looking for something that looks shiny and we have gotten it. Just play around with what you have right here. So this is cool, right? Okay. It is time for we to start utilizing what we have gotten this one for, as now that it's not interfering with this particular one, which is very great. So we go to our analysis 3 right here and we copy this very one. So it's together. So we're going to paste this one here. So what we're going to do right now is just to remove all of this thing we have here. So I'm going to take off products, return rates, and this one should be gone. Okay, what we need now is actually bringing in the product and the profits we have, profit margin. So we have the profit margin. We go to our product table, go to all, and you select the product table right here. So we now locate the product's name, which is this particular one here. So we have this. What we want to show is just the top 5 products, but something beyond that. So I'm going to right click here and just go to filter. So sorry, on the text, which is dimension. So go to filter and choose top 10. So with top 10 now, I'm going to convert the top 10 to top 5. Then I click on OK. Now we have something like this. So I'll copy the same thing over here and paste it somewhere around here. So once I have pasted it in here, what I'm going to do is to make sure I clear the filter I have on it. Then on this one, I'm going to push in my quantity. So we just go for, we can make a search of whatever we want. So if I just type in kill, so we have the total quantity and the return quantity. So we want this one. So here we go. I think we have all we need. So now for every single profitable product, we want to see how much quantity we have. So first of all, I'm going to rank this one, sort largest to smallest. So we want to see the quantity that is attributed to each profitable products we have right here, each top 5. So here's the quantity. So we have index and match, we have VLOOKUP, we have XLOOKUP. So which one do you think we can use? So let's go with XLOOKUP. So if you don't have XLOOKUP, you can use index and match or you can use VLOOKUP. So the XLOOKUP now is looking for the lookup value. So what are we looking for? We are looking for something from here, comma, right? Now, lookup array, I think, oh, sorry. This is the lookup value here. Now, I think I made a mistake, sorry for that. So this is the lookup. You just select one, don't select all of them, select one. So this is the lookup value here, then comma, the lookup array. What is lookup array? Where can we find this? This is where you have to start selecting from here, right? Now, comma. So this one here has to be locked down because we are going to actually drag it down after all. So you have to make sure you give a lock to it. So the next thing again is the return array. What do you want to return? So we do not want to return the profit margin again. Instead, we want to return this particular quantity right here. So we do this. So under comma again. So if it is not found, what do you want? But before then, just make sure this one is actually locked so that when we copy down, it shouldn't move. So if it is not found, we want to have 0. And now we are looking for match. So put 0 for exact match. Then go ahead and close and hit your enter key. Now we have it returned here. If I go ahead and copy down now, this is what we have, different values for quantity. You can see. So this quantity is only attributed to this one here. This is not top 5 quantities sold, but is the quantity that is attributed to the profitable product. That is exactly what we are doing. You have to get that very well. So after getting this right now, what is next? So let's go back to our profit view here. So on this one, right click and go to format control, right? So click over here and click on this. And let's do something like this. I'm going to link it over here. Then click on OK. So we should be seeing 2. If we go back, then we see 2. So I'm going to say option. So we have to make sure we do something that will make people not to actually decide to come and affect it. I always love to use red and I use white. Something like this, okay? Now, we want to create switch using if. This particular one here. So because of the copy down we're going to do, we have to make sure we actually lock it, right? So what we do is, if it is some kind of, which is BH, let's do it again. So this is actually BI5, right? So we come over here, we say if this BI5, so we make sure we have it logged down absolutely, is equals to 1. We want to return something from here. Then, otherwise, I think I'm missing it. I'm missing it. This shouldn't be this case. Let me show you something. This one here shouldn't go with switch. All we have to do is just to make a reference to it. That is all. So we just make a reference to it. So this is what should go with switch. This one here. So over here, I'm going to put my if. So using this particular one to say if the BI5 is equals 1, then we want to return profit margin, otherwise give us quantity. So go ahead and close this. And now if I copy this down, so I'm going to have this. So what I'm going to do now is just to come over here and say copy without formatting. So now I've taken off the formatting we have for quantity, not to copy itself down right here. So this is what we have. We can create our insert here, and over here I can actually go and create my chart, and I have this. Take off the quantity from here, take off this from here, and now we do this. Let's cut it and go to our dashboard. So Ctrl V to paste this, and here, this is where we're going to put this right in. So after getting this now, the next thing is for we to actually look at how we can actually add a caption. So the caption that will actually tell what is selected. So I will definitely do Ctrl+1 first and take off this. So come over here and take off the grid lines. So we can now resize this. For this one here, we have to change the color. The text color should be this. It shows well, right? So what is next now? This chart is not very cool to actually show this because we have lots of categorical values. So how do you switch this chart? So click on it and go to change design. I'm going to say change chart type here. And over here, I'm going to select this very one. I think this one will look fine. So here we go. So we have something like this instead. So if I select this one, you can see this one seems to be ranked, but I'm going to click over here and go over. So make sure it's clicked. So go over to here and just choose this particular categories in reverse order. Now, this one will be sorted from the highest to the lowest. When we click on quantity, look at what happens. Because we are saying we want to see how many quantity are some kind of attributed to this very profitable product. We are not going to have it sorted. So what I'm going to do now is just to click on this and verify what we have over here is 84. So click over here and use the same 84 on it. So we use 84. So something like this. So we have to change its color. The color should match something like this. That will actually pop out on the background we have. Let's go with this color. So this pops. You get it now? So this pops. So switching this gives us this. So we are going to actually have our data label right on it. So I'm going to go over to the element. So click on data label. So go back over here and let's select this area and do Ctrl+1. Then come over to custom. So let us choose the one without the $sign because we have quantity as well. So I'm going to go with this very one here and click on OK. So if I go back right now, it makes a lot of sense, but not quite well. We should have to go over to home, then click on this and change it. Quietly, we want a shiny one like this. So I am going to click on the inner part of it like this and move this inside a little bit. So this will actually make it to look quite fine. Okay, so I'm going to Ctrl+1. The 84 is not really enough. I want to do something like this is quite okay. So I think it's cool like this. So this is actually done, but not 100%. So what we need now is to actually have here our dynamic title into it. It's not something complicated that you cannot do. So it's something you have done before. Let me write here the caption I'm going to have for it. So over here, I'm going to say if this one is equals to 1, we are not going to copy down, so we don't have to lock it. So if it is equals to 1, we are going to say top. But I want to do something before that. So using my equals, I want to define the delimiter. Text join gives me the ability to define my delimiter once. So now this particular one with its tab key, you open and down, you close it. You close the opened one and you put a comma right here. Ignore the empty and the comma. Now the text one will now come. That is where we put our if condition right in. So we're going to say if this one is equal to 1, then over here we do top 5. So we do top 5. So with the top 5 now, we actually say top 5 profitability. Profitability, I think. Okay, let's say profitable. Profitable. Products. And we close. Otherwise, so we can now say over here, quantity contributing to profit. So once we close, we hit the enter key. So we have this. Let's go over to our chart. And now we can get this one. So let's get this one away from here. So we'll keep it right here. So stretch it to this level. So we're going to pick it up. So go over to here. Here you go. So it should stand out. Something like this. Let's keep the consistency. So float it to this side. Move it here. So get this one, Ctrl D to duplicate it and give it to it over here. So do not allow it to be too close to this profit and others. So what I'm going to do is just to bring it down a little bit. I'm going to come over here and bring this down as well. Then the chart itself, we should actually bring the chart down a little bit. So something like this will be cool. Okay, so beautiful, right? You can now have the idea of what you can do when it comes to something like this. So if I click over here, it gives me the top 5 profitable products. And when I select the quantity over here, it says quantity contributing to profit. to profit of the same top 5. So you can actually be very creative about this and do something very much better than I've done. All you just have to do is getting the idea from me. So approaching your own data set, you might have a different, ways of getting this done. So just amaze yourself with different knowledge you have learned here by applying it to your own personal project. So let us quickly bring this particular divider here down. Just duplicate it and bring it down here. Something like this will be cool. So once we have this here, I can actually come and click on this and this one, Ctrl D to duplicate it, and I'll bring this to this part as well. So right now, this one is going to be the category, right? So what I'm going to do now is to just double click it, and I'm going to say profits by category. Okay, here we have this, right? So this place seems not to be enough for our next analysis. We can see how we can adjust things over here. So just click, and shift this to the top a bit. Okay. Then click on this one. Click over here, and this one here, and just move it up a little bit. So don't make it too clustered. Make sure there is space a bit between them. So we can just go ahead and bring this up. So take your time to do this. It will definitely help you. So what I'm going to do now to move those ones at once, I've shown you that before now. So let's go over to Home, then go to Find and select this one. And starting from here, we'll be able to actually select all of this at a time. So can you see it now? So we can now move them. Use your up arrow to move this here. So once you are very much satiated, you can click on your escape key and it will get that off for you. Then we now have more space over here now to get what we want to do done. All right, this is what it is. So over here, we're going to show our category, and this chart will be very, very important for you to it's very important for you to watch this, because this is going to be an amazing chart as well. We're going to put right here. So let's go to here and let's copy this one. So it's still within the same product. So right now I'm going to just do show field settings. And over here, instead of me showing products, if I go to all, I'm going to show category. So showing category, this is all the categories that I have. So quickly before I create my chart, I'm going to rank it. So create ranking. So sort this. Sort largest to smallest. So once you have sorted it, the next thing now is for you to actually create your pivot table. Sorry, it's a pivot table, your pivot chart with this, right? So let's go ahead and click on insert. And over here, we have the kind of chart we want to create, like this one. So once you have it like this, right click and just go to say hide. So take off this one, take off this very one from here, and click over here to remove this. And finally, you get it off. So click on this particular axis here. You can control 1, and you have this very one here. You go to this particular part is actually called axis option. So click on categories in reverse order. So you have something like this, right? So now we need to put in the value, data label. So we have this right on it. Okay, this is where the fun will come in. So I don't want this particular one to be here. I want to push it at this particular part. So what I'll do now is this. I will click over. Let's move it. So I will click over here. I will go over to this particular part. I would go to axis option. Was it here? That is label. So go to labels. Go to labels. So here we click on high and it moves it right here for us. So click on this particular one and push this one this way. All right. So now make it a bit smaller. So Ctrl X, let's cut it. Go to our dashboard environment here and we paste this one in here. So we have to remove everything from here. So quickly, we just have to start getting things done the right way. So I'm going to click on this one here. On the text. So let's go for the text color. Let's choose something like this. So for this one here, so now it's not looking much beautiful. What can we do? So what we can do right now is this. We have to be creative when it comes to something like this. We have to be creative. So I'm going to go over to my inserts, go to illustrations, go to shapes, and let's think outside the box. So I'm going to get this one here. Like this. Delete it first. Don't select the chart if you want to do this. So select the chart first and stretch this one like this. Okay, so once you are satiated, now deselect the chart, go over to insert, go to illustrations, click on this shape and click on this one that has curve. So drag it here as big as you like and bring it over here. This is where we just want to actually play around with. So let's come over here now and select this color. So not text, come over here. So under the fill color, we select this color. So the line color, we say no line. So we have something like this. And we right click and send it to back. So here we go. So new design right there. So here we can actually click and stretch this out a little bit. No issues. So we have this. Okay, now select this very one here. Go to here and do something like this. The color should be changed. So we go with this to match this color right here for you. So what about this? Interesting. So this is the categories we're talking about. So I want to select again and just do this. This is very great right now. So I would love to go back to this inserts and illustration, take this one, normal rectangle, and over here I'm going to select this particular part and do something like this. So for the line, I'm going to say no line. Over here, I'm going to select, let's select this very color here, and I'm going to put the transparency to it. So I believe you can see what I'm doing. So I've done that. I'm going to Ctrl D to bring this over here. So take your time to do this. So what I'm going to do now is to hold my control, select all of them gradually like this. Then go to this particular shape format right here, align your line to the left. So the next thing I'll do now is to actually group them. Can create a group for them. So once I've gotten them grouped, I am going to deselect it and select it back again. Then I'm going to send to back. They've disappeared. I'll select this one, this card here. I'll send the card itself to back. That will reveal this. So it makes your chart to look much more better. But one thing now is this particular part right here, why does it cut off? Where is the remaining part of it? So that will take us back to Ctrl Z to bring it back. Oh, let's Ctrl Y again. Now we have this here. So what we need to do is to select this very one here. I'm going to do this, select this one, send this one to back, send it to back. So it reveals that. So select this one by this time, select your chart, and now stretch your chart this way. Okay, now we have something like this. So I'm going to go ahead and step off from this and use a full screen. So click over here, go to view, and make sure you say the formula bar should be turned off. And this is what we have. A long walk, but it has paid off because we now have a beautiful dashboard to showcase to our boss. So what about this? Nice, right? Okay, what is left right now is navigation and the title of our dashboard. So over here, you can pick up a text, maybe any of this one. So name of the company, let's put a generic name, Kicks Business Dashboard. So we need to increase let's go with 20 and see what 20 looks like. So 20 looks perfectly okay. So we have to stretch it to show everything. And we have to make sure the alignment here is intact. So you can use gradient over this as well. Do Ctrl 1 and go to text options. So you can choose to use the gradient one here. So for the gradient, I want to take off this one. And for this very part here, I want to use a dark color like this. So for this one, I would love to use something like this. Interesting, right? So here is the name of our dashboard. So we can replicate it for other dashboard, other one that we have. So if I paste this over here now, I can just make sure I do this. So this is what it is that you can actually do to have a very nice looking dashboard created. All right. Let me show you how to add dynamic slicers that can hide and show itself whenever you need it. So for the first time, let's add a slicer. Over here, I'm going to click at the top ribbon, go to pivot table, analyze, and here we click off this. So the slicer I want right now, I want slicer, go to all. From this, I want month, then go to product. And I want from product, I want product category. That is this close all of this. Now we want the category here as well. Click on OK. Now we have those two sliders. So to connect them now, we have lots of pivot tables, right? You can click over here and name your pivot table. Click over here, name your pivot table to know which one you want to connect it to. So what I have done is to actually name those ones I don't want to connect to month and the one I don't want to connect to category. So let me show you. If I go to Ctrl X now, go over here, I can now Ctrl V to paste this one down here. I have this separated. So if I click this now, you can see it's not selecting anything for me. So what I'm going to do is just to right click and go over to slider settings right here. Oh, sorry, not slider settings. So we go over to report connection. So under report connection, you can see we have all of this. So I have already named, oh no, we are going to have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. So we need to connect it to KPI. I think those are all the pivot tables we have actually created. So now what we have to do now is to get off from here, go back here and start naming all of those particular ones here. They are not much. There are things we can do within a blink of an eye. This one is category. It has already been named. This one here is product. Let's go over here, click over here, and here you see it's going to be all products. So here is the top products. Name this one to top products. 5 products. So quickly you scroll through, then you name this one to let's go here, product KPI. Very important. Be very specific to know which one it is. So this one we're going to name it to weekday. Then this one has been already named this month. I've named them. So this one again is under KPI again. KPI 2. So click on this one. Then we have to name this one gender. Just customer gender. So over here, customer age group. So we are going to have this one as KPI 3. So location, BT for bottom location. So TP for top location. Then BT again for customer, wherever. So we do this. Finally, we are here. We have do BT for customer. So we have to do BT for customer too. Okay, we are done now. So we are saved. So if we go right here now and right click, then go to report connection. So we can now see that all of the pivot table we have named will be very easy to track. So we want to connect it to this one, We don't want to connect to category. We want to connect it to this one, connect it to months here. So we connect it to months. So let's go down. So this is my KPI products. So we just connect it to all of those ones here. If we go back up right now, so we can just click on OK. So my dashboard will be updated based on what is selected from here as category. Just give it some time. So can you see now? So my dashboard is going to be updated based on whatever I select from here. So now we're going to do the same thing for month, report connection. So let's see what we're going to subtract from month. So from month, we want to include all products, which I'm not sure if I included in the category one. This here. For months, I'm going to skip them. You get the idea, right? So I just do all of this here. So if I go ahead and click on OK, now it will update the whole dashboard for me. So can you see it now? So we can actually go ahead and clear the filter if this is what we want. So here we go. So we can clear the filter. The filter has been added. So it is time for we to do the work. How can we hide this filter and show them when we need them again? So go to the top ribbon, click over here, go to Insert, Illustrations, and over here, let's choose something like this. So drag it here. So Ctrl+1, no line. I'm going to use the darker version, which is this very one here. Then I'm going to copy the color code from here. Very important to copy it. So we're going to need it later. So now step out from here and bring this over. Hold your Control key, right click and say bring to front. So deselect and individually place them here. Okay. Place this one at this particular part. Select this and widen it like this. So for this one, bring it over here. Go to the top and slizer. Let us use 2 columns. Something like this should be cool. So let's go ahead and actually format this. Quickly, when we click over here, you right click on either of these to duplicate this. So let's go with duplicate. So with the duplicate, we have something like this here. So for the whole slicer, I want to choose no border for it. Click on none. For the fill color, click on more. And over here, go to custom and paste in the code you have copied over here. Then click on OK. Click on OK. So for the header, you do the same thing. The same thing for the header. The header should have no border. And for the font of the header, I want to leave it at italic. That is beautiful. And for the fill color here, I want to choose the same fill color. Go to custom. So we can paste in the color code right here. So click OK. So for the selected item, I want to have the selected item formatted. Click on the format here. I don't want to see any border. So for the font, we want to put the font of the selected item on white and it should be bold. Then we click on this. We want to use the same color. So go over here and just do this. So click over here. So for the selected item, I want to put border on it. The border should be at the bottom. So how can we control it? We select this one and over here, let's go with this particular color, or you can select any color of your choice. So I'm using this color now. So I'm going to put border and I select the bottom one here. Click on OK. So on selected item with data, if I click on format right now, I want to put border on it. The border should be this one. And I have to select this very color here. Just something very thin and a bit different from the previous one. For the font right here, I want to have it on italic And the color should be something like this. Okay, we can come here and change it later after all. So for the fill color right now, we want to change the fill color to be the same thing. Go to custom, and over here we do this. We click on OK. So we click on OK here. So if I go ahead and click on OK right now, nothing happens. So I'm going to hold my control key to select this one as well. Go to the top ribbon, slicer, and let's choose this. So you can now see what happens. It looks a bit ugly. What happens if I select like this particular one right here? So you're going to see it's going to stand out. So the selected one is matched and it's stand out. So do you see what we have right now? So the only thing we're going to affect is the header right here. So let's go ahead and touch the header. So what you need to do right now is to right click and say modify. So with the modify, here is the header. We change the color of the header, just the font. So we change the font to something like this here. Cool. So can you see? This is beautiful. So I want to go with this. Don't worry. You can do anything you like. You have a lot of room to play around with the formatting and make sure you have something very beautiful than what I have right now. So I'm going to select this. But before I do that, let's go over to the top ribbon here, insert illustrations, shapes, and I'm going to click on this very one here and drag it down, then put it right here, make it a bit curvy and not that huge. Let's just adjust it. And over here, I'm going to type in open filter. So open filter should be in the middle. Let's go over here and do this particular centralization here. And that is what we need to do, right? So Ctrl+1, and there should be no line. Over here, I want to change the color to match this color right here. So what if I do something like this? Okay, this color looks beautiful, right? So here we go. So what I'm going to do right now is to Ctrl+D to duplicate it. So now I'm going to type in close filter. So with the close filter here, I want to use red to identify that like this. And this looks cool. So I'm going to position this on top of this very one here. So once I've done that, I'm going to hold my control key to select the slicer, select the second slicer, and select the panel on top of it. And I'm going to do right click and I'll go ahead and say group together. So they have been grouped already. So what I'm going to do right now next is for me to see how I can actually hide and show this at the same time. Very interesting. All right, to have it hidden and reveal it back whenever you need it, click over the top ribbon right here. So you are going to turn on something. Go over to search bar here and turn on this particular selection pane. So when you have this on, this would actually, I'm going to move it this way. So with this now, we have a group here. You can see I can toggle between this and this. Can you see it? This is exactly what we want. But before we do that, let's go over to the top ribbon. Again, click on developer and click on record macro. So this is record macro. If I click on it right now, I have this macro here. I can name it that is hide show. So I'm going to click on OK. So once I've done that, I'm going to hide it and I'm going to show it back again. That has actually given me that effect. So go ahead and say stop recording. So when you say stop recording, let's have this one hidden. Now we can decide to say we want to add this or what we have recorded here, but let's go ahead and find out what it is. So go to view Visual Basic, and over here we have this. If I double click it, now if it is working, we can actually go ahead and do this. Now I want to run this. Run. It's not working. How can we enhance this without we touching the code or doing anything that will actually affect our brain? Because most of us doesn't like to do programming. So why do we have AI? That is ChatGPT. So go ahead and copy the whole code. Control C, Control A, Control C to copy. Then let's go to GPT. So here I'm using GPT-4, but GPT 3.5 can do it. So you can decide, I can decide to switch to 3.5 right now. Let me use the 3.5, the free version that most of us will definitely have. So if I go over here, I'm going to paste this. I'm going to say, modify the above VBA to hide and show object. So let's wait for it to see what the result would look like. So we already have something here. So let's go ahead and copy it. So we can now go back to GPT. Sorry, go back to Excel. So we are here. We can paste this in here. So if we test our toggle now, I think it's working. Let's go ahead and hide this. So can you see it now? Just one hand. Did you see what I've done? So use the AI for your advantage. So once we have this, the new name is now toggle. So I toggle visibility. So if I come over here, right click and go to assign macro, I have this toggle visibility here. I can click on OK, right? So I click on it, it brings this up for me. So just click on this particular one at the top, double click to make sure the red is selected. The only one that's going to be selected is the red. Right click and just go to assign macro again. Then click on this and just assign it to it. So now when I click over here, can you see? It's open. If I want to hide it, I just tap it. This is what I've done to get it created. All right, nicely done. The next thing right now is to actually bring in here or navigation, right? So for navigation, it's very swift. I mean, very, very simple. So go over to illustration, the shapes, then we go over to this. And I'm going to just drag this right here, right? So here is it. So I'm going to type here time frame. So I want to see what I'm doing. So go over here, home. So here we go. So keep this right here. The next thing is for me to Control 1 to bring this up and now outline. So for the time frame, we are going to go over to a different sheet. So let's do something like this. So with this now, we change the color to black. So here is time frame. So I can decide to say I want to make sure I have more curvy or whatever. Let's reduce it. I'm going to do something like this here. Okay. So duplicate this. So we have another dashboard. That one will be store. And this one, store. The last one here is actually going to be my profit view. So we are on the profit view. Anytime we are on the dashboard we want to see, we change the color to match the color we have here. So for profit view, let's choose white. And over here for the fill of the card, let's go with something like this now. So let's go with this one here. So here we go. So I'm going to copy this. Hold your Control key to select it. So Control C, come over here and paste it down. So now do the same thing to the time frame here. All right, so what I'm going to do now is just for me to come over here for the time frame. I'll do Control 1. I'll come over here. I'll select this color for it. For the text, I'm going to do this text here. So for this one here, I can quickly use the format painter for it. So we are here. So let's go over to this one here. I think this is time frames, correct? Profit is correct. So store dashboard is not correct. So for store dashboard, quickly I can just do this one. So we select this one. We go over here. So we have something like this. Okay, we want to link this to the right one. To link it now, right click and go to link. So when you go to link, this place in this document. So we are linking it to the time frame. So we locate where we have time frame writing. So let's find it. So here is a double click. So done, right? So for this one here, it's profit view, right click and click on link. So profit view is done. So let's quickly go over here. This one, you don't have to link it. If I click on this one now, it jumps us here. So over here, we want to link this one to store. So right click and just say link. So link it to store. Before you link it, you can add a tooltip and just say click on go to store. So we click on OK here. So we locate store dashboard. So we do this one for profit. So link. So click on the tooltip, go to profit. Then we click on OK. Now profit view. We are in store. We are in profit view and it's showing this color. Then this time frame here has to be connected as well. So we just do this and we do time frame. This is all you need to do. You can see everything here is interactive. So down to this particular part. So this is all you just need to do. All right. If you still watch to this end, all you have to do as a favor is leave a comment, like it, and share to your friends and family. If you have not subscribed, just go ahead and do that subscription because it's very important to grow this channel. Thanks for watching.